My son came out to me and I reacted badly.
Ooh, you didn't try to shove him back in the closet, did you?
It's been pointed out my title wording makes the post seem worse than it is. I apologize for that. It wasn't my intention. So I, 37 male, have always known my son, 17 male, had an interest in men.
Always?
Always.
From birth?
Yep, came out and he was like, that baby likes men.
He likes me more than his mom. Makes sense.
He was slow on the pickup of incognito mode, and from the searches he made, I figured he was at least bi-curious, if that's the proper term for it, since he hit puberty. By the way, this comes from Lost and Confused 1010, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice, Goofly, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, well, last year he started bringing a boy around, and it was obvious they were dating, to the point I figured that he knew I knew, and it wasn't a big deal to anyone. Well, apparently I was wrong. After school yesterday, he and his boyfriend came up to me and said there was something really important they needed to tell me. My son said that they were dating and had been for a year. Well, I was surprised that he wasn't aware I knew and was a bit thrown off.
It's just like, you are not sneaky.
I thought we all knew that. My mouth moved faster than my brain, and I said, well, that's pretty Now, I thought it was peak comedy, since it is, in fact.
Hey, there's humor in the truth.
I calls it how I sees it. However, I understand using the word in that way gives it a very negative undertone. Hence the mouth faster than brain comment.
Oh, but see, that's what makes the joke funny,
so
is that it's you
funny.
flip it around on its head.
Flip it around.
Now, my son and I are...
What do you get?
If you Now, my son and I are usually pretty edgy with our humor, this being fairly tame for the stuff we joke about. While probably not appropriate for the situation, it wasn't our norm for a conversation between us. However, he and his boyfriend were very, very upset and left. I'm probably the a-hole, but I thought I would check and see if y'all had some advice on what I can say to fix it. He currently won't respond to my texts or calls.
No, you're not really. I don't think you're the a-hole. I just think they expected it to be like a really deep like thing. And you're like, I've known this for a long time. This is not news.
I think you just go to him, like, I don't know, you find him, track him down, corner him. But
Trap
track him
in the closet. Put him back.
Find him and you sit him down and you say, hey, we all have known for a while. I reacted with the joke and I'm sorry about that. And then you just kind of comfort him and you're like, you know what? Of course, I'll always love you and I support you. And yeah, just explain why you reacted that way, what your intention was, and then also kind of support and just give him that reassurance.
Yeah, you say, I'm sorry, son. I've already processed that and diluted it into humor.
Son, you know about the incognito mode?
Yeah,
you should know about that.
Son.
That's kind of creepy to me.
I did not expect this to gain so much traction. It's a bit intimidating. Anyway, here is a small update. He's at his grandparents' house, which I knew. He told them to tell me he'll be home tomorrow after school to talk. I'll update you all after the conversation. Thank you for your responses. I really appreciate it. And we have got some comments.
From some people who aren't funny.
Yeah, from some unfunny people. Comment says, you're the a-hole for the wording, I won't lie. As someone who's been out and proud for years, that joke made me laugh my butt off.
See, so.
Okay, funny.
Yeah.
Funny person right here. But your son needed support more than humor. In the grand scheme of things, though I was expecting much worse from the title, I think you just apologize and explain that you meant it in a humorous way and that you fully accept him and his partner. You and your son will be fine. I agree. That's exactly what I said, so I agree. OP says, I suppose it is a little clickbaity when you consider how other parents react. How boring parents react, and they say, oh, I'm here for you, son. Boring. Lame.
Yeah, very boring. Very boring. Very lame.
Oh, I'm here for you, son. I'll always love you. Tired. Oh, that's pretty freaking elite.
Well, you telling me you... Yeah, that's...
I'm clearly outnumbered, but I think not the a-hole. Just somebody that made a joke at an inappropriate time. Who hasn't? You live and you learn.
I can't imagine if I was that kid. I feel like that would crack the tension so hard. I would just have to laugh.
I think that this kid was already very nervous and already had a lot of kind of tension and fear about this moment.
Yeah.
And then when you don't get the exact reaction that you want from your parents, I think it's like, ah, like,
yeah.
So I think I'll be fine.
I mean, I would hope he realized that was like a joke.
Yeah.
But like, I would be like, oh, if my dad's like making a joke about it, like clearly he kind of, it's not like he doesn't support me.
I think he just needs a second.
Yeah.
I think you needed to start it off with, I support you, but also
It's
that's
pretty
kind of
freaking
gay.
great.
Yeah.
You go, oh, no homo?
Wait, you serious?
You clearly don't judge your kid for his identity, and I assume you just wanted to show acceptance by breaking the tension with an attempt at humor. Just apologize for joking during a moment that was clearly important to him, and ask how you can best support him moving forward. Comment says, I'm glad you're supportive of him, but you're the a-hole here, my guy. Learn how to read the room. OP says, unfortunately, an inability to shut my mouth when I see a joke is a trait that's been passed down my family for generations.
Can't relate.
Definitely something I need to work on. Honestly, all these comments are the same. So we're just going to get into update 9 months later. That's a full baby amount later.
They had a gaby.
That's when you come out as and then you need 9 months.
Until you talk to your dad again.
Going kind of chrysalis. Update 9 months later. I tried to make an update on my post where I said, it's pretty effing when my son said he was dating his male friend, but it was auto-deleted, and feeling disheartened, I didn't try again and kind of forgot about this post. I recently saw a slightly changed version of my story on TikTok, and it reminded me of the post. Things got interesting for a minute, so I'll try to recount what happened to the best of my memory. So, my son and I, good. Turns out he and his boyfriend came out to the boyfriend's parents first, and it was not a positive experience.
So they were primed for the negative.
Yeah, they were like, we only have two options, really supportive or like really unsupportive, and they didn't quite compute the middle ground. He thought they could come out to me and get a better reaction, but then I made the joke and it was all just bad timing. We discussed everything soon after the incident, and I reassured them they have my full support. Now, I wasn't thrilled to hear how boyfriend's parents reacted, and the way they talked to my son made me see red. But he asked me not to do or say anything to make it worse, and I listened. Where the small craziness happened is when he told my ex, his mother, about boyfriend's parents' reactions. Now, my ex is a great mother, and other than the fact that she couldn't keep her legs closed for more than 20 minutes during her 20s, she was a great partner. Oh! Yeah. She's also the kind of white trash that would walk out in PJs to fight in the street. A very vivid image of your ex-wife.
That is the white trash street fight uniform.
She's scary, and for some reason, I love that about her. Anyways, when she heard what boyfriend's parents said, she told my son and I, she'll take care of it. She goes, don't worry, I'll take care of it.
Cracks knuckles.
And then she's wrapping her hand.
Puts on her Cookie Monster pajama pants.
Sorry, chat. You ready?
Yeah, there we go. That's her. She's wrapping her hands.
Oh, sorry.
That was terrible.
I cracked the wrong place.
We tried to talk her out of it, but she drove over to their house in her SUV, parked it in the middle of their lawn, and screamed profanities and challenged them to fight her.
Yeah, that's making it worse, Mom.
That's making it worse.
Ma, you're making it worse, Ma.
Now they're like, this little boy's got a crazy mom. They, of course, did not, instead doing what most people would and call the police from the safety of their home. She was arrested, which only enraged her more. When I picked her up from the station, I had never seen her so angry, but she also started hitting on me during her raging. It was effing weird. In the end, my son was able to get her to agree to leave them alone. When she was sued for the damage to the lawn, I thought lives were going to end, but it seems like she just paid it off. By the way, we don't want you to leave us alone, because we want you to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
You're a good dad.
Yeah, you're a good dad.
I wonder how intense the response was immediately when you cracked that joke and then you couldn't get out that it's like, wait, no, but I do. I'm sorry. I support you.
Wait. Yeah, it feels a bit like they were like, we're out of here.
You're just like, how dare you?
And then
how dare you, sir? I'll have you know, we are, and we're leaving.
And proud of it. And we're out of here.
I guess this was just like a little life lesson of like, maybe watch what you say, or like think before you say a little bit more. But because you said that does happen.
It happens. You explained yourself. It's fine. But there is a little bit left to this story. Other than that, everything has been relatively chill. Boyfriend moved in with me and my son. That's amazing. Every once in a while, one will go to hold the other's hand or go in for a quick kiss, and the other will go, that's effing.
See, they took notes.
That's funny. That's humor. So that's a fun reminder of my blunder, lol. He'll be off to college soon and we'll be moving in with my ex since she's closer to the college. I'll miss having their dumb butt selves around all the time, but it will be nice for boyfriend to get a change of scenery, I think. Plus, my ex said I have an open invitation. Your ex sounds wild.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
I think she's into you.
I think your ex is big time into you.
I think she wants you.
I think your ex is a little crazy.
Your ex sounds kind of fun.
When we were texting about arrangements to come and visit, so maybe I'll be seeing them fairly often, lol. Are you still into your ex?
No, he's not.
Are you joking with me? Just kidding. She's effing nuts. I wish them luck living with her.
Yeah, he knows.
See, he's just a comedian.
I know she's the one who drives her car onto the lawn and fights people in Cookie Monster pajama pants.
Probably got like hot Cheetos in her pockets.
That's all I got. Doubt there will be anything worth writing about. Thanks for all the original replies. I really did appreciate them. And I did feel vindicated.
She's got crushed up hot Cheetos in her pocket to throw in people's eyes.
Like pocket sand.
Yeah.
Burn your eyes.
Pocket
What
dust.
is this? Comment one says, these are two kinds of embarrassing parents, and this kid has both of them. And both of them love and support him and his boyfriend. What a mixed blessing to be loved and supported by thinks he's edgy dad joke man. Most likely to be a highlight reel on Cops. And I kind of low-key love that for them. And I kind of low-key love that too.
Yeah.
This is a sitcom.
Those are going to be some funny folks.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Kimberly Hawley in the comments. I've never heard that.
What?
Kimberly wrote, bro, that ex wants a ride on that tube steak.
Top 5 sentences I've never heard.
My son left me when his paternity came to light, but now he wants to rekindle.
This abandonment in the opposite direction?
Let's find out. I don't know. I, 48 male, found out my ex, 49 female, had cheated on me, and that the 2 children she had given birth to, 23 female and 21 male, only the girl was mine. I filed for divorce, and my ex tried for reconciliation, but I couldn't live with so much doubt. Once we got to court, it was like a switch had flipped, and she tried to keep me from the children. It didn't work, though. I had really good lawyers. By the way, this comes from user Carrie Early 1344, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, in spite of everything, I was willing to still be a father to Noah, which is a fake name, but my ex can be very manipulative. She told Noah about his quote-unquote real dad and even introduced them. Since then, I became strictly the fake dad, while he was the cool real dad. When Noah was 13, he told me that he no longer wanted to see me and that he'd tell a judge the same thing if I forced visitation. I asked him why and if I had ever made him feel bad. Noah just said that he wanted to spend more time with his real dad and didn't like my house rules. I was heartbroken, but I let him go and still made attempts to keep the relationship. I called, texted, I sent presents, and even invited him to events. Noah wouldn't respond or pass small messages through his sister. When Noah was 18, he legally changed his surname to his father's and told me there wasn't enough room for me to attend his graduation. After that, I gave up and resolved to live life being a father to my daughter and son, 12 male, via my second wife. Recently, Noah reached out to me and apologized for his past actions and wanted a relationship again. I was surprised and heavily skeptical and was right to be so. Apparently, Noah's real dad got married and his wife gave him an ultimatum and he chose her. I told Noah that while I am sorry for what happened to him, I had no interest in being treated like an old pair of gloves that you only think about and wear when it gets cold. My ex thinks I'm being hurtful and petty, which is rich coming from her, and my daughter says that she understands my pain but hopes that I can learn to give Noah a second chance. I just don't know because I'm in a place where I'm fine not having Noah in my life or having any communication with him. I don't want to rekindle a relationship just for him to drop me again when his real dad changes his mind. Am I the a-hole? And we have some relevant comments. But what do you think?
I agree with the daughter. I understand being upset with him, but at the end of the day, he's a kid.
Yeah, he was 13 when all this,
Yeah.
He was clearly poisoned against you.
Yeah.
To some degree by his mom.
Right.
So I think you should try to find a way to forgive him in your own heart.
You could be the adult in the situation.
I understand it hurts though.
Sure.
But it's like, he's a kid. Galaxy 956 says not the a-hole. While I completely understand everyone else's reasoning, I feel many are missing the important point. Noah did not reach out because he saw the error of his ways or saw how his mother manipulated him against you. Noah is reaching out because his real dad tossed him aside. While it's certainly possible that event opened Noah's eyes, as outsiders, it's easy to just say, forgive him, he's just a kid. Being the person hurt, it's not so easy to just do it when the event is making you feel like a backup plan in any kind of relationship, much less than a father-son one. Having said that, while I wouldn't blame you for not accepting him at all, the most respectful thing for everyone involved would be to let the initial shock and anger subside and then arrange a meetup and talk to him. During that conversation, hear him out and figure out for yourself, is Noah reaching out because this opened his eyes, or is it out of anger and resentment at his real dad trying to use you as a replacement? OP says, I feel like I'm just a replacement or a placeholder until his real dad changes his mind. A deleted commenter says, do you think you could ask him what he would do if that happened? OP says, I've thought about asking him that, but I honestly do think I would believe him if he told me he was genuinely sorry and would still want a relationship with me regardless of whether his dad was in the picture or not. The name change was a big gesture against me. Zenev 30 says, not the a-hole. He's already 21 years old. He had plenty of time to reconnect with you, but chose to do it now because his dad dropped him. His mom may have manipulated him when he was a kid, but he had plenty of time to realize that when he became an adult. Because as soon as we turn 18, we realize all of the wrong things we've thought for our whole lives.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
For sure.
Also, I don't get why his dad's wife would give his dad an ultimatum. He's an adult. Why was an ultimatum needed? Does he live with his dad? Is his dad paying for his expenses? If it's about money, then sorry to say, but he's only trying to reconnect with you because of the money. Don't let anyone guilt trip you. Stay firm to what you want. OP replies, I honestly don't know why his dad was given an ultimatum. He literally stopped talking to me directly when he was a teen and then ceased all other form of contact once he was 18. He had to ask my daughter for my phone number. TMSS16 says, your son, because he is your son, he was for more than half of his life, and you were in the hospital the day he was born, you changed his diapers, you're his dad, like it or not. Your son was a middle schooler when he decided to cut you out of his life. I think maybe your interpretation of his motivations may not be correct. There's a pretty strong chance that when he saw that his bio dad would think nothing of giving up his relationship with him for a girl, it reminded him of the dad who never stopped trying to love him, even when he didn't really want that love, and made him realize what he'd lost. At 21, he's still very young, and it sounds like he wants his dad back. Sure, it could end in the two of you yelling at each other and never speaking again, but there's also a very significant chance that this could be the start of a rekindling of that relationship. I don't think there would ever be a situation where you would say, oh dang, I wish I hadn't reconnected with my long-lost son. You're lucky in that it's only been 8 years. It will be much harder to reconnect if you reject him now, just like his bio dad did, and decide when he's 40 you'd actually like him in your life. I think it's fair to say that if the vast majority of 7th grade boys had a choice between a rules and stability dad or a fun, no rules dad, they'd pick the second one. Of course it hurt you, but I don't think it reveals some great moral failing of his. He was a young person grappling with the very traumatic fact that his identity changed when it came out that half of his DNA came from a completely different person than he thought. Of the people who were traumatized by this paternity revelation, I would think his trauma would be equal to or even worse than yours, particularly since he was so young when it happened. So you would be the a-hole for missing out on a chance to get your son back. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay, but at least you'll know. OP replies, Noah stopped thinking of me as his dad long before I stopped considering him as my son. So I want to ask, can two people still be considered family if they stop thinking or treating each other as family and there's no blood relation? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you change his doo-doo diapers?
Right.
Did you go, I love you, little baby boy, who I think is my boy?
Right.
Yeah, that's your kid, dude.
Yeah.
Oops. Oops,
Absolutely.
he doesn't have your genes, but that's your kid. Oops.
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 Yeah. And again, like what we were saying before, what comes with having a kid is just, letting them go through those phases where they're just like, I hate my fake dad.
Yeah, the finding out your bio dad is not the dad that has raised you and then cutting off your dad
Yeah.
for your bio dad, who's also not a great guy, it turns out,
Yeah.
is a pretty rough scenario to have to deal with.
Yeah, and that's so young too, for sure.
So young. We have like one more comment here and then we'll get into the update.
Cool.
My licorice life says, of course they can. People choose their family all the time. My daughter still calls my ex-husband dad, even though he's technically no longer her stepdad, and she has a relationship with her bio dad. There's always room for more love. There is a lot of hurt on both sides of your situation, so reconciliation won't be exactly easy, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. OP says, but again, Noah chose to reject me, and I eventually got tired of being rejected and stopped thinking of him in that way. He's choosing me when it seems like he can't try for anyone else, and I don't choose that. You mentioned your daughter, but did she at any point stop calling your ex-dad and then changed her mind later? Is her bio dad involved in any way? And if he was, would she still be calling your ex-dad? We have an edit for info here.
All right.
Just to be clear, because I keep seeing this, I divorced my ex when Noah was 6. My ex told Noah the truth about his parentage when he was 10, and his real dad came into his life around 12. This all didn't just happen when he was 13. By the time he reached that age, he already had at least a year to process the information. What are you talking about? See, this is like, it's like, well, he had a year to deal with. It's like, this is a child.
Yeah.
Being impressed upon by his mother,
Yeah.
how he should be thinking and feeling about OP, his dad.
Yes.
You're not going to undo that
Right.
with like just a snap of your finger.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
when I asked my daughter, since Noah wasn't talking to me, if she thought her mom was pushing Noah to say those things, she said no. Right, and she would have also been 15 at the time,
Yeah.
not going to tattle on her mom.
Right.
You know,
It's just, you gotta understand these children.
these are kids.
Just trying to figure out the way of the world, you know?
Right. Apparently, Noah wanted to spend time with his dad, but because of his work schedule, it wasn't always often. However, when it could happen, it was conveniently during my scheduled time with Noah. I tried to see if we could work something out, but my ex and Noah refused any compromise, and the verdict was not the a-hole. Here's an update. All right, blah, blah, blah. Thank you, everybody. It feels nice to have my feelings validated. After a lot of thought, I decided to follow my wife's advice and write an actual letter to Noah, regardless of whether or not I intended to send it. I explained to Noah how much he hurt me by refusing to see me, never inviting me to important events in his life, and not wanting to meet or spend any time with my son via my new wife. I also told him how legally changing his surname cut deep. I wrote that in spite of everything, I still didn't take any pleasure in hearing about his father's rejection of him, as I understand how hurtful that can be. I said that even though I knew he was young, I was still angry over what he did, and a part of me felt resentful towards all the time, love, and money I spent on him when I technically didn't have to. Again, it's just that same vibe that I'm not liking.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but what about me?
Yeah.
It's
like,
the same.
I spent all this money on you, raising you as a kid. It's like,
And then you ignored me. So
right. It's like, well, that's
did
kind
I
of what
deserve
you're
that?
It's like what you're supposed to do as a parent. So
it's so much more complicated than like, well, I spent money on you. My feelings are hurt.
yeah, it's like, it's not quite, the relationship between like a parent and a kid isn't quite as fair or as like equal as a friendship or something, you know? Like in a friendship, it's like, oh, well, like I, covered your meals here and there. Like maybe you could like cover some of mine, But with a kid, it's like, I bought you like a bed and like clothes. You don't have to do that for me, Yeah. It feels weird.
So this letter felt very cleansing, and I read it a couple times before burning it. In the end, I decided to reach out to Noah and ask my daughter for his new number. He changed it when he was 19 and didn't give me his new one. I sent Noah a message reiterating how sorry I was about how his father treated him, but I was hurt that it felt like I was being treated as a last resort. The circumstances of his desire to reconnect don't make me trust the relationship. I told him that I was willing to have some type of relationship with him again, but only under these specific guidelines. Don't call me dad or refer to me as father in any way. We can readdress this in the future, but right now it honestly feels too soon. Don't ever ask me for money. Cosigns for anything either. I'm not going to be his personal ATM for any reason. You invite me to your things, I'll invite you to mine. He's free to complain or talk about his bio dad with or around me, but he needs to understand that I have no kind words for that man. and will either say negative things or nothing at all. I expect him to be nice to my son and new wife and treat them with respect. Don't go running to your mom in regards to information about my wife, or son's lives, as it's none of her business. Don't go running to your mother or sister for any problems you have with me. We either talk about it man to man or find someone else. I don't want them trying to put themselves into our business. He needs to understand that going forward in our relationship, if we continue to pursue one, it's going to be different and will take more work on his end than mine, as he is less of a priority to me now that he's an adult. And when I pass away, the majority of my assets will be split between his sister and my son through my current wife, and he will only be left the minimum requirement for him to not have grounds to sue. Again, I'm not going to be his cash cow. And by the way, you can be our cash cow by listening to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to stories or podcasts. Just search OK Storytime.
You can be a cash cow without spending any cash. How
True.
great is that?
It's true. Spotify and iHeartRadio are both free services. So, okay, I think given the context, it's like he's reconnecting with his adult son who was estranged from him, and he's 21 now, and he's got a 12-year-old son with a new wife. Sorry, I'm getting cozy because it's really cold in here. I think a lot of those boundaries make perfect sense.
Yep.
And it's not really like, I think I was all fair. I wouldn't be like, well, I think it's kind of, putting the wrong energy out to try to set up these boundaries with your, estranged son immediately. But like, I'm just trying to think of why, like, I'm not satisfied with this story right now.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I understand these boundaries, and I think it's valid to feel this way. I just think maybe saying it in the way that it was said in the post wouldn't quite be the way to do it. I wouldn't want OP to go up to his son and be like, okay, you can be my son again, but you gotta abide by these rules. Like, I feel like maybe just have a heart-to-heart with him. Ask him what made him come back, because if he's been away for so long, you don't know exactly what went on in his life. Figure out what that is.
Yeah, let's finish this story. The rest of you can agree or disagree, but these are my terms if Noah wants any type of direct communication with me going forward, as this is the only way that I feel comfortable and how I believe I can protect myself if Noah ever becomes hurtful. This will also be his last chance, and if he disappoints me again, then I am prepared to wash my hands of him, because I have more to live for than just waiting to be loved by someone. Comment says, Noah never loved this guy's rules. Being met with a barrage of rules when he reached out reminded him why he didn't. He blocked OP's number and never contacted him again. That's why OP hasn't updated since. There's nothing to update. And that's the end of that story.
I asked for a few hours to myself each week. My wife got furious.
Just need a little bit of alone time here.
I, 34 male, was always sort of an introvert before I was married to my wife, 33 female. I had friends, but I always needed a few nights alone to unwind and do nothing but F around on the computer, watch TV, play video games, etc. By the way, this comes from user just 6 hours, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
And I'm Angie.
And Opie says, I recently got promoted, and I've been working 50 hours a week, which I know is not that much, but I have people in my face all day long. Phone calls, questions, clients and employees in and out of my office. I eat at my desk, and I'm answering my phone between bites. I also have an hour commute each way. So, I am out of the house 11 hours a day. I get home around 7. My wife does not work, which I'm okay with. We have 2 boys, 5 and 7. One just finished pre-K, one just finished 2nd grade. So, they were out of the house 6 to 7 hours of the day as well. Now that it is summer, my wife put them into a summer day camp program that runs from 9 to 5. So, they are out of the house 8 hours a day. My wife supposedly uses this time they were in school and the time they are now in summer camp to make our next day lunches, our dinners, and to clean the house, do laundry, run errands, etc. So here's the problem. My wife feels that when I get home at night and all weekend days My wife feels that when I get home at night and all weekend days are for family time. I love spending time with her and I love spending time with the kids. But she thinks that since they are at school during the day and I'm at work, that we need to spend every night and weekend together no matter what. I've suggested her or my parents watch them here and there so that we can have a date night and or relax by ourselves. But she gets really upset that we would pawn them off onto other people when we spend 35 to 60 hours away from them each week already. I'm trying really not to feel resentful because I really do love them, but a typical night consists of me coming home from work, having dinner with the family, helping the kids with homework, helping my wife clean the kitchen, watching TV with the kids before bed, putting them to bed, setting up their stuff for the next morning, and then taking a shower and crashing out. I have literally zero time for myself. The weekends, my wife expects me to spend the entire 48 hours doing family stuff, taking the kids to their grandparents' house, playing, going to the zoo, bringing them shopping, etc. I'm not against family time, but between having people in my face all day at work and then having to spend all night doting on my kids as soon as I get home, 24/7, 365 days a year, I'm feeling very burnt out. It's really hard for me to admit, and I hope I don't get blasted, but I'm starting to feel very resentful towards my wife because she's home without them for 7 to 8 hours a day, every day, and I can't imagine that she's really spending all those hours every single day doing chores. She has to have at least some free time she has to have some free time to herself throughout the week, right? I don't want to assume because I've never had to take care of a house and I can't pretend to know what it entails, but really? Not even an hour of free time? A few weeks ago, I asked her if it was okay if 2 nights a week I spent a few hours by myself. I don't mean that I will go out to a bar or come home or anything, or not come home or anything. I mean I'll come home, eat dinner, do the dishes, and then maybe go in the basement to watch some TV, play video games, have an adult soda or two, and just zone out. From like 8:30 p.m. to when I go to bed. I usually go to bed by 11. I also requested that we have either of our sets of parents, who are more than willing, to watch the kids one weekend night every other week or so, which she flat out refused. Anyway, she started crying. She kept saying that she has no free time either, and I think that I deserve more free time than her just because I work and she doesn't. She feels like I am saying I need time away from my family because I don't want to be around them or something. It's not true. I like being around them, but sometimes I just need to be around nobody. I never get that anymore. I thought about asking just for one night a week, but we've tried in the past when my kids were younger, which she hated back then too. And it didn't work out well because I would spend that one night a week, I guess, trying to savor it. Because basically, I would end up staying up really late because I knew that once my night was over, I wouldn't get another one for an entire week. And then I would end up being exhausted the next day with a pissed off wife. If I have 2 nights to look forward to, then to me it becomes more of a, okay, tonight's over, but I will have another one in just a few days sort of thing, and I won't feel the need to stay up quite as late. She thinks this is unacceptable, that I need to be a parent just as much as she is. I don't think she should be solely responsible for them, but I feel like she isn't with them during the day. Why can't I not be with them for 2 to 3 hours twice a week? I'm asking for 6 hours a week of alone time max, not even an entire day. Am I really unreasonable? Does making the choice to become a father really mean giving up all of your alone time? Am I being a piece of crap for wanting to be away from them for just a few hours? I'm trying to do my best, but I'm finding myself fantasizing about getting a divorce just so that we would have 50-50 custody and I wouldn't be forced to spend all of my free time with them. I know that's horrible and disgusting, and I know logically that isn't what I want, but I'm feeling like I'm being burnt to a crisp. We have an update.
Oh boy.
Yeah, is that broccoli?
I think that's OP being burnt to a crisp.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, OP, you're on the verge of actually legitimately having a crash out, if not already there.
Yeah.
We are human. People have different like I'm an extrovert. I love going out.
Mm-hmm.
I have that energy that I can go out literally every week.
Totally.
But there are times where like I want at least one day or a weekend to just do nothing.
Yeah. Same.
That's so fair, but I'm not a parent.
Right.
The thing is you are okay with being a parent, but she wants you to be a parent 24/7. That is your job, but you deserve to have at least an hour or two just to quietly sit down on the couch and be like,
right.
I need that peace.
Exactly. Like, yeah, some people, might be, she might be in the place where, like, if she's really busy at home, but she's also alone at home all that time. So her idea of, like, relaxing is hanging out with you and hanging out with the kids and stuff, especially since you're so busy and he's not even gone for, like, a normal 8-hour a day work
Plus
week,
the
you
hour
know?
commutes and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly. So he's gone a lot of the time. So she probably just wants to relax by hanging out with
Yeah,
him.
exactly. People have
but-
different ways of, having that peace and relaxation. Hers is probably you get to go home and have family time.
Right.
Update. Truly, thank you all for your replies to me. I just want to clarify that my 7-year-old's bedtime is only at 10 at the latest in the summer when he is off. Although I agree that he is not really off when he's going to day camp at 9 a.m., my wife feels like it's not worth fighting with him to go to bed earlier when it is his break. After seeing all of your replies to my last post and realizing I wasn't getting crucified for wanting some time away from the kids, I decided to try and bring it up to my wife again. I told her I would really like to take her out that last weekend, and if we could please let the kids spend some time with my parents. She kept questioning me non-stop. Why do I need to be away from the kids? Why do I think it's okay to drop them off at my parents? Why don't I want to take responsibility for them on the weekends lately? I believe she was referring to the last time I brought up weekend date nights because I'm with them every weekend. I told her I love the kids to thank you. I told her I love the kids to my grave, but that I can't just be a worker and a father 100% of the time. I explained to her I just need some time. Not a lot, but some, to be just me and nothing else. She called me a selfish a-hole, and that if I wanted to spend so much time away from my family, I might as well get out of her face and away from the house. This was Friday night. Saturday morning, I woke up and tried to talk to her again. I told her that I just wanted to spend some time with her away from the kids. You want to spend some time with your wife.
Yeah, wait, okay, that's also nice too. It's like,
Yeah.
I just want to have date night.
Yeah. To feel that I was still a person in a relationship with someone I loved and not just a father. She started getting emotional and angry again, same as the night before. And it was at this point I snapped. I told her that I was going to spend time away from the kids that night, and she can either join me and let my parents babysit like they want to, or I would go alone. This was not my best moment. Long story short, I went alone. Whoa. But I quickly realized that I have no idea what to do with myself on a Saturday afternoon. I haven't seen my friends in forever. They're all married, and my wife clearly doesn't love me spending time out of the house seeing them. The only friend I have that is single is a bartender at a pub about 20 minutes away from my house. So I went there. And by the way, you can stay here with us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this one. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just search up OK Storytime.
Gosh.
That is crazy. The fact that you literally have no social life.
Yeah, that's big.
She is legitimately, and I want to see if she has any friends or what have you.
Right.
But the fact that you are a father 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But during that time that you're a father, you can also be yourself. You can go do your own thing. Like this is crazy that she's
Right.
not giving you even an hour or 2 hours a day to just
Right.
unwind.
I know. Honestly, it's like I wouldn't know how to talk to this woman about all of this because clearly all of these reasonable things that he's explaining is not making sense to her.
I see so much logic with you, OP,
Yeah.
and I see no logic in what her reasoning is.
Yeah.
Again,
Because even when he snapped, he's like, "You can come with me. It's not that I hate my kids. It's just my parents want to babysit.
Yeah,
because they understand.
that's
And
crazy.
so you can let them do that. You know, the kids are going to be taken care of. My parents will be babysitting them. Like, I feel like at this point he needs to just kind of like shoot out like some random hypotheticals of why she could be feeling this way. Of like, do you not like my parents watching our kids? Do you I don't know, feel like, you know, having something like a nanny, or do you even like that they're in daycare? Do you feel like it's not okay for other people to raise them or something like that? Like,
yeah.
like, do you not want me to have a social life? Do you have a social life, or do you feel guilty for having a social life? Like try to come up with all of these crazy things, and hopefully that will kind of make her get to a point where she can explain herself better.
Yeah, we need an explanation why she's not allowing you other than like her shutting down or shutting you down, shutting the
Yeah.
idea down of like, you want to spend time with just us, just us. Nope,
Right.
that like bad. I
Right.
think a therapist or a counselor or
Yeah.
something just to manage as like a mediator and like
Yeah.
be present of like, why do you get like this when you ask you that question?
Yeah.
Do you think not having alone time or like just a 1 hour wind down time, even that is too much to ask for?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And I would also just try and be like, our friends have kids too. Maybe we should like mingle, like get
The
like
kids
I don't
can
know.
play outside while we talk or something. I don't know.
I think people deserve a social life.
For
like
sure.
you're allowed, as long as you're being a 100% a father all the time and like doing what you need to do and being there for your family and like, providing for them and not, it
Right.
sounds like you're not selfish at all.
Right.
It sounds like you're not lazy. So it sounds like you're doing everything right. You just
Yeah.
deserve that time.
Exactly.
I literally only had 2 adult sodas. The bar was pretty empty since it was a fairly early afternoon, and I got bored pretty quickly and I decided to leave and go back to my family. My wife, though, was not impressed. Now she was accusing me of choosing to go drinking at a bar over my family. I had no idea how to get through to her that all I want is to have 1 or 2 days a month to spend on a date night and 1 or 2 nights a week to play video games for an hour or two so I don't go crazy. I can't take the constant 24/7 stimulation without a mental break to myself to zone out anymore. I can't take not having time alone with just me and my wife. I just want to run away. I never would, but oh my God, I want to. After Saturday, I just let things go back to normal. My wife has been pretty icy with me, but nothing else has really happened since.
Oh my gosh, that's all we get.
OP, yeah, you can't. It's not. Relationships are a two-way street, or it's a two-way dance. You're dancing her dance the entire time.
Yeah.
You got to be like, hey, can we slow it down? Can we just slow down this dance
Right.
a little bit? It's kind of crazy. It's very
Yeah.
crazy.
My wife secretly planned a date with her massage therapist while I was away.
Show up to the date?
I, 42 male, need opinions and advice because I'm livid and not thinking straight. While I was out of state last Friday, my wife, 39 female, was online late looking up her sports massage therapist's Facebook, phone number, and email. The next day, she ended up with his number, and from what I saw in her texts with her best friend, she was excited about it. By the way, this comes from How to Proceed 123, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota,
I'm Carly.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do, so if you do something different, let us know in the comments. OP says, from those texts, I can only infer that she was planning to ask him to dinner because the next morning, my wife updated her with a boring LOL text, and her best friend replied that she was glad my wife stayed home and just did a normal stalk. Her friend added, just get a massage and do not ask anyone to dinner. My wife's response back was, I can't make any promises. What the F? Dude, this is not your wife anymore.
Like, huh?
I think this, you know that you should leave.
Yeah.
I'd be leaving.
That's like, yeah. I mean, she's hasn't done the deed of cheating, but she's ready to.
She's like reveling in it.
She's like premeditating cheating.
She's very excited about it.
Yeah.
Not only was she planning a date with this guy, she also hasn't shut the door on it. That night, our kids slept over at my mother's and she went radio silent around 9:45 for the rest of the evening, which felt odd. It shouldn't feel odd, buddy. You should know what's going on. She almost always sends a going to sleep text when I'm away, but I just assumed she fell asleep. I would have never guessed this is what I'd stumble on a week later. She got his number because the following day she hurt her leg and told another friend about it. Not the best friend she was texting, but someone who had recommended the therapist 9 months ago. That second friend messaged him on Instagram. He apparently replied right away with his personal number, and she passed it along to my wife. From what I can tell, friend 2 has no idea about the flirty back and forth between my wife and her best friend. But my wife made a big deal to her best friend about how crazy it was that now she had his number. She also shared that she only texted him about the injury and that he followed up to check in on her the next day, but nothing more. I'm not texting him. I'm just going to leave it alone. Effing great, I guess. I'm piecing this together entirely from her conversations with her best friend. She obviously hasn't mentioned any of this to me and has deleted the whole text conversation with the guy. That in itself feels
enough. What also stands out is that something must have happened on Friday to trigger all of this, because she thanked her best friend for listening to me be a psycho. There were no arguments between us leading up to my weekend away, which is not an excuse, but I'm trying to rationalize, and nothing I can think of that would have triggered this. In fact, that morning before she left for work, while I was at work, she was really nice, setting aside a few things for me to pack when I got home. It makes me wonder what the F shifted between being sweet that morning and this BS in the evening. I can't find anything. I'm holding all my willpower not to blow this up right now, but I don't have any proof they've met outside of appointments or that things have gotten physical. However, the searching, the late night effort to find him, the flirty tone with her friend, the I can't make promises comment, the coincidence of getting his number, the missing messages, the radio silence, and the fact that something unknown happened to set this all off, it feels like emotional cheating at the very least, and something that could easily escalate further. This is so out of character for her, or at least I thought so. But since nothing happened, is this salvageable? Then my mind wonders, thinking about any other time in the last 21 years that crap like this could have happened. Do I even want to save it? I'm spiraling, swinging from extreme anger to complete numbness over and over again. I have the receipts to prove it, and I still can't effing believe it. That said, I don't want my next move to be a mistake, and I'm not thinking clearly. What should I do? My marriage and family are everything to me, but I'm not going to ignore this. It's not a question of if, but when I'm setting off this bomb. Should I confront her now or monitor the situation for something more? And there's an edit. I'm adding a confirmed timeline I have of the weekend. I summarized it in the original post to avoid it getting too long and scaring people from reading. Here's a cleaned up version. This detailed version seems to change some perspectives. Thank you all for the replies thus far. Sadly, it's been eye-opening to say the least. She was working until 8 p.m.-ish that Friday night. She spoke to her best friend for 32 minutes at 9:47 p.m. Thanks for listening to me be a psycho last night. I last spoke to her right before that at 9:45, telling her I was driving and would let her know when I got to the hotel. She Google searched him from 11:20 to 12:26 a.m.-ish. I got to the hotel around 1:20-ish and texted her with no answer. The next morning, she texts a boring update, and her friend says she's glad my wife stayed home to just get a massage and don't ask anyone to dinner. I can't make any promises. This is where I see red. That same morning, she texts friend 2 that she's limping and can't run. Friend 2, also a runner, also sees the therapist, totally innocently gets the guy's number through Instagram so my wife can call for advice. I found a draft in her clipboard of the first message she sent to him, entirely about just the injury and how she should treat it. This is still Saturday. That night, she texts her best friend, "You won't believe this, but I got hurt," and texted friend 2, and she got me his number, so I had to text him. Best friend says, "Oh no, this is bad." Wife says she can't make it up and tells her she had to text him now or it would be awkward, which matches the draft message. Best friend jokes, he's like, "Finally, she has my number. It's mommy's turn." What? What? Okay. Don't know what that means. Laughing emojis from my wife with an "I hate you." Then wife says the guy said to keep him posted, but she says, "I'm not texting him. I'm just going to leave it alone." On Sunday night, she texts best friend that he sent her a "How are you feeling" text. Friend says, "Stop, really?" Wife says, "Yes, that was the text, exclamation point." Wife, "Nothing else crazy, but I had to text you." Friend, "Did you say you would feel better if he cured you?" Wife, "If I could only," and "I'm better now, lol." Friend, "Mentally better now, lol." Wife, "Actually way worse." And there's an update.
Yeah, your wife was like fully like low key down to cheat.
Your wife seems like an idiot.
Yeah.
She's messaging a physical therapist like, "Hey, my legs hurt. Like, what do I do?" And he's like, "Do this, and then let me know how it's going the next day." And then he reaches out to her and says, "How are you feeling?" And she's like,
He asked me how I'm feeling.
freaking dunce cap on her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the friends. Like, what kind of friends? Like, they know. I
would just be like, honestly, I saw the messages.
Yeah.
I've seen them. We have two options. We either do counseling, if that's something, OP, you're open to, which you said this is either something we can attempt to work through, no promises that it'll work, or we just split right now. Those are our two options.
Definitely confront her though.
Because while you're like a giddy schoolgirl fantasizing about having an affair, so how long until you just make that a real thing?
Right, you already seem pretty ready to do it with this one.
Yeah. Well, we have an update.
Great.
Let's see what happens. Update. Please don't ask how I got the text. I won't reply. Okay. I added some commentary to help correlate with the timeline in the other post. Once again, thank you all for offering advice and guidance. Having people to talk this out with really helped me from spiraling deeper than I already was. This is the text that the wife sent on Saturday. Hey, sorry to bother you. I'm literally limping around. I don't know what happened. I just can't lift my leg. I wasn't even doing anything crazy. It just happened out of nowhere. I think maybe it feels like nerve pain, but it's not just the back of my leg. It's the front too. I've had sciatica issues in the past. This exactly matches the draft I found in her clipboard. The sciatica she mentions is a lingering on and off issue since our youngest son was born. Therapist says, could be your back or hip. What movements hurt the most? Wife says, if I move my knee inward or if I just try and stretch flat. Therapist says, okay, for the next 2 days, you need to focus on anti-inflammatory practices, ice, Aleve, and comfortable positions. These flare-ups happen and they suck. Focus on lowering the inflammation. Wife, all right, that's what I'm going to do because I really hate going to the doctor. Hopefully it doesn't last too long. OMG, I just remembered you're away for the weekend. I'm being that annoying client, LOL. Thanks for getting back to me. Therapist, no problem. Keep me posted over the next few days.
Wait. So was the only reason that she couldn't cheat then because he was away for the weekend?
I don't know, I guess. I would assume the only reason she couldn't cheat is because this guy's probably not into her at all.
Right, and he's probably just being like, yeah, you're here for, therapy advice for sure. I don't know. The way she's dealing with it, though, asking how you're feeling is enough.
And then it's like after those messages, she's like telling the best friend, I won't text him again. I'll just leave it alone. But it's like,
yeah.
What? Even if you're not doing this, you're like fantasizing about having an affair with somebody. So like, we need to do some serious work.
Yeah.
Or it needs to be over.
Yep.
Wife says, will do, thanks. And here's the text from the therapist. Hey, how are you feeling? And then she texted best friend Sunday night that he reached out to check in on her. Wife says, so much better. I think it was my lower back. It just came out so suddenly. I was freaking out. Therapist says, these things happen. It's important to have 48-hour plans ready to go from there. Glad it was short-lived. Stretching session will be important from now until race day. You can't afford a flare-up close to race time. Wife, oh, I know. I was like, what's happening? I'm just glad it wasn't worse. I'd be dragging myself through that race if I have to, LOL. Wife, are you doing the stretching at the new place or is it the other girl? Therapist says, I'm done stretching. Wife says, okay, at which place? How do I book it? I'm going to wait a little because some of the stretching was hurting me, but just so I know. Therapist says, you're still in the process of the inflammation going down, so give it some time. You'll be able to book through an app. Both facilities will have them. Wife says, okay, do you have a preference or does it not matter? Therapist says, when it comes to who stretches you? Odd question to ask, but definitely not a big red flag. Wife says, no, I'll go to you if you do it. I'm saying, do you have a preference which location? Therapist, location. We'll have exclusive stretch sessions. We can include more stretches in our massage sessions if you like. Wife says, okay, got it. I just want to make sure. And by the way, I want to make sure you can listen to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to podcasts, just search OK Storytime. We have a little bit more story left.
Yikes.
Honestly, again, it's like, I think that, it doesn't seem like she cheated with the therapist or that they even really want to. He's just being professional. I think you need to really confront your wife about you are aware that she was fantasizing about cheating on you.
Right. Yeah, therapist seems very just like, oh, like, go wherever. You'll get stretched there no matter what.
Yeah.
Like,
and he just finally got to like, are you talking about who's going to stretch you? Because, I mean, and then even there, it's like, therapist is like, okay, well, yeah, if you already, prefer me as a massage therapist, it's like, yeah, it makes sense that you would have a preference for that. But
it's funny, though, because she's probably taking this back to the friend and being like, he, like, wants to know if I want to stretch with him.
Yeah, no,
and
it's
like, no, dude, like, it's so professional.
Honestly, it's pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
Also, not sure, like, how you're sleuthing on all of your wife's messages, but if you're already at that point,
Yeah.
It's not looking good for your relationship,
I
big dog.
did want to know, was that something that he like previously set up from suspicion,
Yeah.
or like was it by chance, like you said, just signed in somewhere? Because that then it's like, yeah, why are you already looking?
It's all bad all around.
Yeah.
And it just makes it worse that you have a reason to be looking. But yeah.
And that you found something.
Well, let's finish this story. So that's it. No further texts or calls since Sunday or any contact. It's completely professional. Had I stumbled onto this convo using her phone for something else, I would have never thought anything of it. But she deleted it, and it doesn't change the facts of her conversations with her best friend, implying very strongly she wanted to get his number Friday night and ask him to dinner. I'm still going ahead with my plans for the confrontation tomorrow night, but I think I'll soften my approach. I need to know what triggered the psycho phone call Friday night that set this all in motion. Only my wife will have that answer. And that is the end of that story. But yeah, that's a mess.
Yeah.
I think my son is dating his best friend. They're both males.
Well, that's all right.
That is all right, and there's nothing wrong with that. Hello, all. Just to be clear, my husband, 50 male, and I, 47 female, are not against our son in any way. We're simply unsure of the correct way to approach our son about this. By the way, this comes from user Mission Software 8388, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give you good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. So if you would do something different than what we would do, I don't know, just let us know in the comments or in the chat. It's all good. And OP here says, this all started a year ago when my now 15-year-old son had just turned 14. It was summertime and my son was enrolled in a lacrosse camp. One day he came back from camp and told me he met a boy from another team named Marcus, which is a fake name. My husband and I were excited to hear that he was making friends. I suggested that he should invite Marcus over one day. My son seemed happy to hear this and they started to hang out a lot over the summer. About a month into the summer, I was cleaning out my son's room while he was at camp and noticed that his computer was open and unlocked on his desk. I tried my best not to be a snoopy mother, but since it was just sitting there, I thought I might take a quick look and make sure he was being safe. We had just recently given him access to some social apps, such as Pinterest, Instagram, and Snapchat. I just wanted to check to make sure he wasn't doing anything possibly dangerous. First thing I saw when I opened Safari was 3 tabs. One was an article about a bunch of pride flags. One was a quiz to determine your gaydar. Parentheses, still not sure what that is. And the third is a YouTube video about a YouTuber's journey coming out of the closet.
All signs point.
At first, I was confused and unsure what this meant. I called, again,
Silly.
it's pretty clear what it means. I called my husband into the room and showed him the tabs. He just sighed and brushed it off. My husband then explained to me that he did the same thing when he was a boy. No, he didn't. Your husband wasn't Googling quizzes on Facebook when he was a child.
Yeah, how old is your husband?
Or, yeah, that's not...
Was that around back
That-
then? I think not.
It seems that many teenagers will experiment around this age to try and figure out things about themselves. So both of us just brushed it off as normal teenage behavior. Well, next thing we knew, Marcus and my son were hanging out almost every other day. If they weren't hanging out together, they were texting or calling. I mentioned to my husband that I felt like our son and Marcus had grown very close in a short period of time. He agreed, but also noted that it was perfectly healthy and that they were both good kids, so we should give them time to hang out and have fun. I completely agreed, but I've always been a bit protective of my son and just wanted to make sure he and Marcus wouldn't have a bad fallout that would leave him super upset. That's a canon event. Everyone has to have that happen.
Yeah.
At some point, you can't protect your kid from that.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Part of life.
So both of us gave them space to hang out and enjoy the summer, though I still kept a bit of an eye on them. The first time I noticed that my son and Marcus might be dating was one night when I came downstairs into our kitchen during one of their sleepovers and found them cuddling on the couch. Marcus had his head on my son's chest and my son had his legs wrapped around Marcus's torso. This wasn't just some kind of position where it might have looked like they were sitting close to each other. They were very obviously cuddling and even holding hands. I quietly returned to my room and explained to my husband what I saw. 2 boys cuddling. He agreed with me that our son and Marcus had been getting very close lately. Neither of us were surprised to find this, as we had kind of expected it. We decided to let it play out quietly and see if they would come to us first. We had no clue how long they had been hiding this relationship, or if they were even officially dating yet. Now that they're both 15, it's been about a year since they met each other. They still haven't come to talk to us, and I don't know Marcus's parents' stance on this topic, so I don't want to bring it up to them and potentially cause Marcus any trouble at home. My husband and I are pretty sure they're dating, as we've seen them cuddling multiple times and even caught them kissing once when they thought they weren't being watched.
Okay, maybe
why are you doing this?
I think we know now. I think we don't need to be spying on our kids anymore.
You don't need to have the spy plane,
Yeah.
the secret kiss cam.
You don't need that.
They're just like around the corner, just like waiting. We're
Yeah.
like, what
just
kind
like in the
what
bushes.
kind of shenanigans are they gonna get up to?
Yeah, you have
It's
like a house plant that you're like peeping through.
yeah.
with your
Stop
peepers.
using your peepers to peep on your son.
Let's quit it.
Neither my husband or I are opposed to our son being or to our son having a boyfriend or girlfriend, but I'd really like him to come to us and tell us first. Even if I have to go to them and talk privately with Marcus and my son, I'd rather do that sooner than later and have this conversation so they can understand we accept and love them. I also feel like we're intruding on their privacy, and they would have more freedom and comfort if they could tell us openly. Any advice would help. Thank you. And we do have some comments, but yeah, I guess I've already said my advice.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice?
I mean, first I just want to applaud you. Good job, parents, for at least asking about this. I feel like that's so
Yeah.
nice. I feel like if I found out that my parents were going to Reddit asking like, how do I be okay with, then I would be like, oh, that's sweet. That's
it's not
sweet.
like, how do I fix this? It's like, how do I
Right.
make sure they know that this is
Yeah.
okay?
How do I not mess this up? But yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like in any situation with your kids, I feel like just being super chill is the best way to go.
Yeah.
Like, you want them to feel comfortable, and that's the best way to do it. Just be like, yeah, you can tell me anything. Okay, I would say have little reaction to it, but at the same time, like, I have had friends that came out and then there wasn't much of a reaction. It was just like, oh, okay, yeah, like, we knew. And then they were kind of bummed. Like, they wanted it to be, like, happy and celebratory in a way. So,
Yeah.
I mean, definitely.
Yeah, just give them a hug. And be
Yeah.
like, we're so happy for
Yeah,
you.
we always love you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you're able to share this with us.
Yes.
Easy.
Exactly. Literally that.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
We have some comments here giving their own advice. I wouldn't bring it up, but I would show support in other ways. Maybe put a little magnet on the fridge
There you
of
go.
equality.
There you go.
Or put one of those signs in the garden about everyone being welcome in your home. Subtle hints that you are accepting. He will come to you in his own time. It is 2025, and some kids don't feel the need to come out. If you've always been accepting and live in a place that's accepting, just casually tell your kid to invite his boyfriend to something. Use the word. There may be a reaction and there may not be. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with just like surprise, like, yeah, bring your boyfriend. Be like, what? Like,
Yeah.
no, just, yeah.
Yeah, because that's like outing them in a way. So,
OP responds to this. What would you do if he was dating a girl? What kind of questions would you ask then? Ask the same ones to him. OP says, this is a great comment. I would like to thank all of you who left comments similar to this. I never even thought about the fact that both relationships should be looked at completely the same. This makes me feel much more comfortable talking to him about it. And there's an update from 11 hours later. Looks
Ooh.
like somebody had a conversation.
okay.
Let's get into it. I read as many of your comments as I could and sat down with my husband to talk about what to do. We ended up just quietly bringing up to my son in the middle of lunch a conversation that I had a friend who just started dating his boyfriend and wanted us all to meet him, which is true. I was told this a few weeks ago. This family friend is a classmate from college that my husband and son know well, and my husband made a few comments on how happy he was for said friend. Our son made a few nice comments but didn't say much for the rest of dinner. And by the way, you can listen to much full episodes with stories just like this.
That's right.
On your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, just search OK Storytime.
So much episodes.
So much episode. Yeah, I think that was good. I think you you made a little comment saying, "Hey, my friend's that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's go support him and his boyfriend."
Right. Right. There you go.
And that's all you got to do.
I agree.
About an hour ago, my son came forward to me and my husband and explained that he thought he might be or bi, and he wasn't sure.
And then Dad's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, Dad's like, I
Yeah.
get it. He explained to me that Marcus's parents were pretty non-supportive of that kind of lifestyle. So after hearing Marcus's fears about coming out to his parents, my son got scared as well. He and Marcus are not officially dating because they weren't quite sure what to do or how to move forward. I came clean to my son that I happened to see his computer and saw him multiple times with Marcus. My son was understandably upset at first, but said that he was glad I made the subtle comment at lunch as it gave him a way to open up to me. I explained to him that if he's comfortable and Marcus is comfortable, we should have a conversation with Marcus to try and figure out how to help him talk to his parents about this issue.
Aww.
Yes,
It's all working out
We're-
so well.
we're trying our best and we're succeeding. Love that. Gotta love that.
Gotta love that. Gotta love that because love is love.
Love
Alright,
is
guys?
love, baby. Love is love, babies. We have a comment here from OP to finish this off. We have explained to our son very clearly that Marcus is always welcome here, either as a friend or a potential boyfriend. My son is grateful for this, and I've spoken to Marcus over the phone already. Marcus is showing some interest in wanting us to help him talk to his parents, but is understandably not quite sure yet. And that is the end of that story.
Wow. Wow.
Wham, bam, shang-a-lang.
Wow.
You did it.
See,
You
that's
did
just
it
so
the
dang
the
sweet.
good way. You did it the good way.
Totally. Yeah, that comment worked. Plan worked. So great job. And yeah, now at least, unfortunately you might not be able to change Marcus's parents' mind. I don't know how much you could say to them to help with that, but
Yeah.
I'm glad at least that they have one household to go to. That's safe. I think that's huge.
I interrupted my son's date, and it did not end well.
Oh, sorry. I'll just close the door.
I am a single father, 43 male, to 2 children, Max, 17 male, and Liza, 8 female. I usually have Liza in after-school clubs so that I'm able to pick her up after work. However, last evening, I was given some work that required me to stay late. I tried my best to negotiate out of it, but my manager told me the assignment had to be completed that night, so I just did it. By the way, this comes from user Helpless Dad 2785, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota,
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
and we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers.
Mm-mm.
We only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. It was nearing 6 p.m., and I knew I would not be able to make it to Liza's school. I called Max and asked him to pick her up. He responded by saying he could not because he was on a date with his girlfriend for their 6th-month anniversary. I told him I understood, but emphasized that I really needed him to get Liza, and promised to make it up to him for interrupting. He angrily turned off the phone, and I thought that, although he was mad, he had decided to pick her up anyway. 30 minutes later, I received a call from Liza's school asking where I was because the school was close to closing down and no one was there. Luckily, one of Liza's friends' mothers said they would drop her off, which resolved the immediate problem. However, I did not like Liza going with that particular friend, not because of the friend, but because of the mother. She has a habit of asking Liza math questions she cannot answer and then criticizing her over it. It is quite mean.
Says a 7-year-old, and she goes 15 plus 16, and Liza's like, dumb.
Prove this equation, y equals mx plus b. Explain. I called Max to ask where he was and told him he was in big trouble when he got home.
How did you know where he was?
He just told me he was busy and to leave him the heck alone. He came home around 9 p.m. I told him he was grounded and would not be allowed to use the car for 3 weeks. At that, he became mad and said it was not his fault that I was failing as a parent and could not afford someone to collect Liza. I am now looking for insight on this situation and whether I was being too harsh for interrupting his date. Am I the a-hole? Comments. Number 1 says, okay, I'll take the bullet here. Not the a-hole. You're not failing as a parent. You had to work overtime. You're not out drinking or screwing around. Your son was in the wrong here for not helping, turning off his phone and calling you out for it. But you two need to talk this out and discuss expectations. If you expect him to be a part of the contingency plan, then that needs to be crystal clear.
Yeah.
And what happens to car privies when he doesn't? Reply, I don't blame OP for the situation, but it's so funny to me that this sub is calling the kid an a-hole. Usually they love to regurgitate, your kid's your problem, and lack of planning on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on mine. I think these are super crappy worldviews, but it's so weird that they suddenly don't apply to a kid just trying to celebrate his anniversary. Reply to that says, a kid just trying to celebrate his anniversary? I take your point, but this kid told his single dad that he was failing as a parent and to leave him the heck alone. I can't even imagine saying either of those to my hard-working single mom. Son's an a-hole and dad is doing his best, in my opinion.
The thing is that I don't think anyone's like.
No, the way the son reacted
Yes.
for sure was rude and.
But
he's 17.
yeah.
I was gonna say he's
He's a
17.
17-year-old.
It's
And
the
there's a
kids
divorce
say the
going
darndest
on.
things, and I know he's a teen and he's almost an adult, but they don't know any better until
Yeah.
they get older, and they're gonna look back at it and it's like, wow, that
Yeah.
we learn. We learn, and I feel like everyone has said something like that
Yeah.
or in the lines to someone they love.
Absolutely.
Comment 2. So here's the thing. I get Max's response. Our kid is 19. I was 16 once. I get it. I really do. But OP made arrangements that were supposed to work, and then something dropped on his lap. Whether we like it or not, this happens. When it happens, families ought to be a team. And in this case, the team needed Max to go and get his sister. Again, Max is 17. Our kid has gone 8 hours without returning texts, but these were about simple things like you coming home for dinner or what have you. Not I'm stuck at work, help, etc. Anyways, not the a-hole. Caught in a bad situation that could happen to any of us. Comment 3. He interrupted a 6-month anniversary of 2 teenagers that was taking place in the afternoon. It's not as serious as some of y'all are making it out to be. This is the 3rd time I've asked Max to pick up his sister in a year and a half. Some people have asked why I do not have a nanny. Money is tight. Liza and Max's mother is not present in their lives. I have not socialized with other parents at Liza's school because I'm at work most times and only attend yearly parent meetings. And there is an update. There were also comments I breezed over that were ridiculous because the comments were like, what do you mean your job is making you stay to do work?
Jobs do that.
And then they were talking about like, well, I think OP needs to create stronger boundaries with their work. But it's
Can't do
like,
that.
dude.
This is
Welcome to the reality of you do the work or
Yeah.
you get fired. Now
Yeah.
you also
And
don't
now
have a
you-
job.
And now he's taking care of 2 kids with no job.
Yeah, it's like,
You
I
can't do
gotta
that.
keep my
Yeah.
job is
Yeah.
the answer to all of those comments.
Again, like I said, this is a big life lesson for everyone.
Yeah.
Because what if your son wasn't available?
Yeah. What if he was like 2 hours away? You know.
Yeah, and yes, that does suck, but then you need to pivot of who's plan C or D or
Yeah.
E,
Yeah.
F, G, whatever, Z, just to have a backup.
If you called up an adult, like
You're
a
like
friend,
25.
and you said, hey, I need you to do something, and they said, I can't do it, you don't ground them. If you really need them to do it, you explain, this is why.
No,
And
but he's
not- you
no,
know?
but he's for sure getting grounded just
Yes.
after
No.
after
that's
we're
not-
having our sit down.
That's not my point. I'm just saying with adult, like we're not like he isn't an adult yet because he can still be grounded and he still doesn't understand consequences to things. But if you want to lead him to that point, which I think is the goal, I'm not a parent, but I think that's the goal of all parents is to lead them to a point where they're independent.
Right.
I think you say you're still grounded because you're still a kid. You're
You-
still under
You
my
gotta,
care.
Right now, you got to lead this guy
But-
to the point where the pit starts and then put him in the pit.
No, but the transition period is also adding on that conversation. I think that's. I'm not a parent.
Put him
I
in the
don't know
pit.
how I would do it.
That's apparent.
Put
But
him in the
I-
pit.
yeah,
Lower
I
him
think-
down with a rope into the pit. Put him in the pit.
I think I would just want to communicate more while also adding in
You
consequences.
can
Yeah.
shout down into the pit.
That's my thoughts.
Thank you for all the comments. I spent a good hour reading them, and it made me realize I'd been quite soft with Max's upbringing, which likely made him feel comfortable speaking to me the way he did that night. Oh boy.
Oh dang! I don't.
So
think
I
we're
threw him
gonna-
in the pit. Let's go. I should
don't
have been
think we're-
throwing him in more pits.
I don't think we're going towards communication.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going towards that
Pit.
answer.
Pit. I also admit, which rhymes with pit, that I have spoiled him, giving him everything he asks for. I did this because I didn't want him to feel lacking compared to his peers since he doesn't have his mother in his life. Now I see this was not the best reasoning. I had a discussion with Max a few days ago while Liza was away. He tried to have his grounding and car privileges removed, but I stayed firm. This shocked him, as he is used to getting his way, but he understood he was in the wrong.
Okay.
Max became emotional during the conversation and apologized for his behavior.
Heck yeah.
He acknowledged he was too late to fix past mistakes, but promised to not repeat them. He even offered to pick Liza up on days when he doesn't have soccer practice or plans. And by the way, you can always make plans to listen to more full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Just search OK Storytime. And you can listen so long, it'll make you go, whoa, that's a long time. We got a little bit more story left here. Let's see how it goes. After reading advice to do so, I made an anonymous complaint to HR about my manager's tendency
Nice.
to assign last-minute tasks.
Good.
Hey, there we go. There we
Again,
go.
This is a learning
This is
situation for
great.
everybody.
That's why I like.
That's how you do it. You
I
don't
say
set
able
boundaries.
lightly for this story.
You go to HR. Other people in my department have experienced the same thing, but were afraid to speak up. HR has responded, and it is being dealt with. I was embarrassed to confront Liza's friend's mother and only gave her some dirty looks when she was not looking. Yeah, why would you do anything? She literally watched your kid for you.
Yeah, don't.
You should confront her with a thank you.
She probably asked some hard-hitting questions.
Like about algebra. Many people asked what I would do if this happened again, and we have reached a mutual agreement with Max that he understands he needs to help out in
Perfect,
the family.
which is what I wanted.
The situation is not ideal, but we're making it work. I sincerely thank everyone for their comments and advice. And there are some more comments here, but OP doesn't reply to any of them.
This is
So
great.
that
This is what
the
I
end
wanted.
of that story.
This is what I wanted. I'm not. I feel like we might get flamed at parts, or I might get flamed. I'm not a parent. I don't know
No.
what I'm doing.
Like, we say it at the very beginning. We only know what we do.
We only know what we do. I've never parented a child. I've only babysat children and not teenagers.
Yeah, I guarantee.
I've been around teenagers.
I guarantee you, if
They don't know
I was
anything.
in high school and I was friends with Max,
Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, your dad sucks.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh my god,
Like, your dad's
I'm-
annoying. How
I
dare
probably
your
wouldn't
dad?
do that, but but like I
Like,
do understand. Like,
Does he not know how
yeah.
serious a 6-month anniversary
dude.
is?
Dude, it's your 6
That's
month
the love of your life. That's
anniversary?
your future wife.
Yeah,
That's like
it's-
half a year. That's so long.
I just think
Dude, your
like
sister sucks.
I do think that all the people in the comments saying like 17-year-old is old enough to know that this is wrong. Like maybe after the fact, but
No, but he was
17-year-olds
also,
are
we have the
dumb.
context that he's a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
you made a spoiled brat. He acted like one.
Yeah.
There you go.
My family thinks I'm a bad mom for combining my son's birthday and Christmas.
You might be.
I, female 30s, have multiple children, but this question is particularly about my second child, male 13. In December, my son turns 14. This past week, I was helping the kids make their Christmas wish list. My son told me that there is only one thing that he wants. He knows it's expensive and that we cannot afford it, but maybe some money towards saving for this item would be his best wish. He wants a desktop high-performance gaming computer to create a video game. Wow, he wants to create
That's
a video game.
cool.
That is cool. By the way, this comes from Caspian324, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, my son is very smart and very creative. He has been obsessed with video games since he was a baby, sitting in his dad's lap while his dad played video games. My son has been talking about this game he wants to make. He has folders full of details and notes for this game that he wants to create. He has used my gaming computer to start teaching himself how to code so he can slowly build this game he has spent the last year pouring his heart and mind into. All to say, this is important to him. My husband and I have discussed this, and we want to support him 100%. His birthday is in December, and while I would love to go all out for both like we have in the past, we just cannot afford Christmas for the whole family, his birthday, and the gaming computer, along with the desk and chair that he will need, unless we wrap his birthday and Christmas all into those 3 items. Yesterday, our family got together, and the adults were discussing Christmas lists and what each person should look into getting for each child. My son was brought up, and my sister said, and do not forget birthday ideas too for his party. When I told them that we would not be doing a big party this year, my family got mad. They said, you cannot skimp out on his birthday. Grandma always said having a birthday near Christmas feels like no one cares about your birthday anyways. So you have to go bigger just for them on their day. Do not give your son the idea that he is not important as the rest of the kids. Whoa, 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 whoa. Chill out, guys. Calm down.
As someone whose mom has a birthday very
yeah?
close to Christmas, though,
Uh-huh.
I have been always made aware that birthday is separate from Christmas,
Yeah.
and you do something for both.
Yeah.
And like
It's just
your
good.
birthday gift cannot be Christmas related, your Christmas gift
Right.
cannot be birthday related.
Right. Makes sense. But he specifically said that he's cool with it.
I feel like though at least doing something that day that's just saying like, and this is your birthday, like
yeah.
even if it's just like going out to dinner, like a cheap
Yeah.
dinner even, but like, hey, it's your birthday today, you pick what you want for dinner, like you pick like out of these very simple activities and
Right.
like family can come over and it can still be a family
Right.
day kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I tried to explain that we were putting thousands more towards his Christmas because of what he asked for, and they just said it did not matter. I did not think it was that big of a deal. We always go out for his birthday, more so than any of the other kids, so just so he feels special during a season when everyone's minds are focused on Christmas. And I know he will understand when he opens that brand new computer on Christmas morning. My husband and I still planned on taking him out for his birthday, dinner and an activity of his choice, and a card with money in it for him to put towards the computer that he wants. We considered giving him one of the items on his birthday and the others on Christmas, but that would ruin the surprise. And this would be a big surprise because he is right, this is not something we could normally afford, but my husband has agreed to work twice the overtime and I have taken on a second job so we can afford to do this for him without affecting what we get the other kids. I hope this all makes sense. Things like this make me emotional because I worry like crazy that I'm screwing up as a mom, so bear with me through the explanation. Am I really an a-hole for combining his birthday and Christmas for just 1 year so we can get him his dream gift for Christmas? And we do have an update, but yeah, what do you think?
It's not how I thought the story was going to go, so
Yeah.
I really don't think, like, you're still celebrating his birthday kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I don't see why it's a big issue. Like, you're keeping them very separate things still.
Totally. First, thank you for all of the replies and the helpful advice. I have not been able to read every comment, but I am working on it. I called my husband at work and we agreed when he gets home we will be talking to our son and getting his opinion. The only reason I had not thought about getting his opinion, which is incredibly selfish, I now see, is because I never had a real fantastic Christmas. Gifts were often taken back by February and pawned or sold. But it is my favorite holiday, so I always work to make it have fantastic memories. One of those is their surprised and happy faces as they open presents. I would say my love language is definitely gift giving because hunting down and giving a gift that makes someone so happy their face lights up makes me so happy. We will be talking with our son and I will update what we decide. And we do have a second update from after the talk. So we started the conversation with, so for your birthday and Christmas, we would like to get you one big gift. It is expensive, but we know you would love it.
See,
Like,
that feels like the giveaway to me.
yeah, like if I was a son, I was like, okay, great, I'm getting the whole computer.
Right.
It's not money towards it, I'm getting the computer.
Right. Because
Like,
at that point, like, then you should have just given him half and half.
yeah, exactly. Would it upset you if we combined your birthday and Christmas gift for this item? His response was, do not tell me it's the gaming computer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, my face gave it away. He was super excited and said that no, he would not get upset that it was combined considering what it was. So the plan is still to take him out for his birthday and gift him some cash he can use to buy accessories for his new setup. We discussed if he still wanted to do a party, though a much smaller one, and his response was, I have not liked birthday parties for years. Being around that many people at once and having to stay happy the whole time is really tiring. But I know how much you like planning them, so I didn't say anything. I would rather go out for dinner and maybe stop by Best Buy or GameStop.
With his money for his new computer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if the plan the whole time was to just
Yeah.
give him cash for his birthday
Yeah.
that he could use to buy accessories and then on Christmas get him the gaming computer,
Yeah,
that already sounds way more than like any
Yeah.
kind of birthday that I can think of.
totally.
for
I mean, you
Christmas.
kind of are already giving him a gift, man.
Right.
Like you're
That's
not,
already a ton.
Yeah, you just don't need a party. You don't need a party, guys.
I don't think you had to give away what
Yeah.
this was.
Especially like he's turning 14.
Yeah,
He
he's a
can have some
kid.
say in what he like
Yeah.
wants to do. Makes sense that he's not interested in the parties anymore.
He's like, I'm a cool teenager now.
cool teenager. So plans are made for what he wants, and family has been informed via mass message that if they want to, they can stop by on his birthday to wish him a happy birthday and give him any presents or cards they got him. I still have not had a chance to read all of the messages, but to answer a few common questions I saw, his siblings will mostly not care about the difference in price that we spend on each one individually. When we buy gifts for Christmas, there are a lot of factors we take into consideration. For instance, will this be used frequently and loved, or will it be played with for 2 days and tossed? Or are you mentally mature enough to care for this item? Our 9-year-old wanted to put a PlayStation on his Christmas list, but I reminded him that this year he broke a controller to his father's Xbox and left my iPad within reach of his 3-year-old sister, leading it to be broken by her. I told him that we would reevaluate next year and see if he had learned to be a bit more responsible, and then we could revisit a console of his own next Christmas. That sounds like a great parent response.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. On the other hand, the new bike he asked for is a given. He takes very good care of his current bike that has even grown out of, and even learned to do repairs on it himself. Our 12-year-old daughter has only asked for smell good stuff like lotion, some hooks for her purses, and a jewelry box. Our 15-year-old daughter asked for my old gaming PC to be fixed so she can have it, and a small desk to put in her room. We discussed her brother getting a new one and if that would upset her, and she said no, that she loves mine because it was the first one that she used, and the memories of us playing together are what makes that one so special.
Cute.
Well, isn't that just darling?
Isn't that adorable?
Our 6-year-old daughter put one thing on her list, a new bike that is not girly, dinosaurs preferably, and our 3-year-old does not care as long as it makes noise or is a baby doll. We don't spend the same amount on each kid each year because what they ask for does not always equal up. But trust me, they are always happy with what they get. I'm not worried about the Santa aspect. In our home, Santa only brings candy, stuffed animals, coloring books, or reading books. I never wanted my kids to go to school and tell a friend, I got a new game system from Santa for Christmas, and their friend wonder if Santa did not like them because they did not get something as nice. So we only gift things the elves could make. His birthday was never going to be forgotten. We were still planning a dinner out, an activity of his choice, and a card with $100 in it to put towards his computer, which will now be a shopping trip to the stores of his choice. And of course, we would get him a cake. I own and operate my own bakery and always make my kids their favorite cake for their birthday. We go out for every child's birthday. We plan an activity they enjoy at a place they like and throw a big party and invite everyone. We do not spend the same amount of money on every kid's birthday simply because some things are not as expensive as others. But the ones old enough to understand get it, and they have never expressed any unhappiness. A birthday wish is always something we strive to fulfill. Also, as a final part of this update, my family has been informed of the choice, and after speaking with my son, most of them now understand that it is his choice, and they happily accept. My parents are now getting him the desk, and my husband's parents are getting him a nice chair. My sister will be getting him a lamp and a whiteboard with markers to put over his desk so that, as she puts it, any inspiration that strikes he can write down and keep right at hand. My husband's aunt also has informed me that she will be putting up half of the computer's cost so I can quit my second job. Wow. So wonderful. She is giving her oldest daughter an equal amount as she is saving for a car, and the other kids' portions she will give in the form of gift cards. She usually does this, and we take the kids on a mini shopping spree and send her photos. She hates going shopping herself. And by the way, I would hate it if you never listened to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever other podcast platform you choose. Just search OK Storytime. And I will not hate it. We can be together, not alone. This is so wonderful.
Adorable.
Yeah. If they wanted something like happy and something big to celebrate the son for his birthday, then they're contributing in a great way.
I feel like they probably just didn't realize that he specifically wanted this like one big thing,
Right,
and like how much of like a giant effort this was going to be to get
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
And now they're involved and they're also doing it. And
Yeah.
who's going to be way happier than his birthday parties that he hates.
Totally. I know. They was all coming out of love
Yeah.
and concern. That's all. In all, talking through it with him, it worked out better than expected. I was worried the surprise would be ruined and even apologized if he felt slighted by not being surprised on his birthday and Christmas. And he just laughed and said, "Mom, you do not ever stick to the plan. There will be more for me to be surprised by on both days." And of course, he is not wrong. I have already started looking up online coding classes for beginners and little inexpensive desk items that he might find helpful, including a custom mouse pad with a picture of him playing a video game with his dad when he was 3. Aww.
Cute.
Do not worry, I will get a backup plain one that will not embarrass him should he have friends over. Thank you again, everyone. Wow, your love language sure is gifts. That's
Yeah.
a whole lot that you're getting him.
I feel like he's gonna surprise you too. He's gonna love that custom mouse pad.
He totally will.
Yeah.
He totally will.
Maybe he'll put the other one out for his friends to like look
If he
cool,
just,
but I
like,
think
is
he's secretly
embarrassed,
gonna
but-
be like, oh my god, that's so fun. My boyfriend's family is keeping me a secret until we get married.
Shh.
I'm 28 female and my partner is 31 male. We've been together for almost 8 years and we aren't engaged. He is a British Pakistani Muslim and I am white British atheist. It is also worth noting that I have a chronic illness that keeps me in pain 24/7 and makes it very difficult for me to do physical and at times mental things. By the way, this comes from Useful Dependent 505, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I work for his and his family's multiple companies and have worked myself to the bone, to the point where I was still in the office the same day I was admitted to the ICU, half an hour away from passing away.
Whoa.
Whoa! I have many different roles within the company. Think IT, HR, quality assurance, service manager, basically dip into every single role, which would normally take 2 to 3 people to cover. And I don't get paid what would be fair to do all of these things. Alongside this, I work out of hours whenever needed for no extra pay. For example, to answer staff members or service users during the evenings, or completing huge reports and tenders in the evenings and nights also. I've been happy to do so, as my view is that whatever I do to help the company helps my partner, and therefore my family. Me, him, and our 4 cats, who we basically see as children. I have also been told repeatedly by the family, when discussing pay raises for work outside of hours or my role, that I get remuneration from being with my partner as he earns dividends. Being that it is a family company and it is a very stressful sector, there have been many fallouts between us all. Horrible things said to me and a ridiculous amount of stress for the past 7 years. His family has never trusted me fully and always kept me at arm's length, almost hiding me, citing that things would be different and I'd be included properly when we are married, Islamically and legally. For the first few years, I didn't even go into his parents' house and would have to sit outside. And now we are at the point where they will invite me to immediate family gatherings. However, I'm hidden from anyone outside of that circle and not invited to events outside of the immediate family. For example, when his brother married his wife a few years ago, I was invited, but was told I'd need to pretend to be the wife's friend, so I refused to go. I have put pressure on my partner repeatedly to propose to me so that we can get married. However, this has still not happened. He claims that all of these family issues would be resolved if we just did the Islamic wedding, which involves conversion, which is a big commitment for me considering my lifelong religious views. However, I have maintained that I want him to propose first so I can enjoy the feeling of being engaged for a little while. This still hasn't happened, and we are very busy people. But more recently, I've been feeling like this is a commitment issue instead. We started looking for houses to buy recently as we have decent salaries and savings, and we are currently renting, so wasting money paying our landlord's mortgage instead of our own. We did find our absolute dream house. However, my partner's family are the type to haggle wherever they can, and they convinced him to do so on this house, and we lost it, which devastated me as it was one of the only things I've ever truly wanted in life and felt like we deserved after working so hard. However, my partner was keen to continue looking, so I pushed this aside and carried on going to house viewings on the same day we found out that we had lost the other one. Because of my partner's salary, we can get a more expensive house than the average household in the UK. My partner will be the one putting the deposit down and paying the mortgage and using savings to build extensions to the house, while I will be paying for the utilities, council tax, broadband, etc. I will also be responsible for planning the entire renovation start to finish as I have more experience in this, drawing the plans for the extension, decorating, etc., in the hopes that we can build the house into something even better that we will appreciate a lot. I will contribute to this financially where I can. Furniture, painting, decorating, white goods, etc. The issue has come with the mortgage. At first, I believed my partner was on board with doing the mortgage with me, as most couples do, and that he was receiving pressure from his family to do it alone. It has transpired now that we have gotten to the point of submitting the details that he wants to go for a solo mortgage, as it is his view that the house is technically his due to it being his savings, and he will be paying the mortgage payments, even if I am paying for the things mentioned above. I have been happy with seeing it as his house and have stated I will sign a legal document to state that if we split up or I pass away, my share in the house would go to him, and he would reimburse me for any money I spent towards the house. However, my partner has now insisted that he wants to do it alone, and the fact that I'm insisting to do it the other way is worrying him. That I might try to fight to be able to run off with the money if we split up, regardless of legal documents signed.
All right. Why are we doing this, OP?
Why
are we doing this?
There's okay.
There were so many things
There's
that I'm like,
so many things.
huh?
Can we start
Huh?
with the whole, like, to me, it personally feels as though he has not proposed to you because he wants you to cave to doing the other thing first.
100%.
100%.
Again, that's the one thing, your religious views. 2, his family. What's up with that? That's crazy. 8 years.
8 years.
8 years? That's
and you
crazy.
have to be a friend at the wedding.
That's
at his
insane.
brother's wedding. It feels like a lot of the problems may stem from the religious beliefs, unfortunately. And if
100%.
you're both not willing to, like, respectfully see each other's beliefs.
He wants total control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping not, but it's sounding like.
Stop everything, quit the job, the family, and the man, like that. Also,
Yeah, separate your life a little bit more.
can
from
we talk
this.
about your job, your
You're
work
doing
life?
everything.
You're working literally 3 jobs, or like a 3-person job, all on your own, and you're working extra hours, getting no pay, and you also have a medical issue. Girly pop. At the end of the day, we got to do what's best for us, or for yourself in this
Yeah.
case.
No.
And none of this is doing that for you.
The reason I want to be on the mortgage is so that at 28, I feel as though I do own a house still, even if I would lose it if we split up. I also want to feel that my partner trusts me, even with the legal document being there, so technically he doesn't need to trust me. Alongside that, it only feels fair to me that I get this, considering I have been told repeatedly that I benefit from being with my partner. I know people may say that we could just get a cheaper house and split the mortgage. However, in my mind, this would be pointless as we work so hard and never spend the money. So I feel like this should be something we do spend it on. I also feel like it's important to note that if we did split up, I am taking a big risk, as I will have no home that I own and I will lose my job and will have to start all over again, whereas he won't. By the way, you can always start listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We have an update. What else are we feeling here, though?
Run. Why are we doing this? I've heard nothing
Yeah.
positive out of this guy, your partner, who's not even really your partner because he's not even talking about you /
Yeah.
hiding you and doesn't want to do anything for you.
It sounds like it's you versus an entire family, when this is a family that you're supposed to end up a part of, and like they should have been welcoming you into, like, little by little at least.
Yeah, do you think it's going to get easier?
They're not just gonna suddenly be like, oh yes, you have now done the ceremony we wanted, come on into everything we've been doing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. OP,
Right down to
8
not even
years-
paying you.
I would understand this if it was like a year.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot to comprehend, but this is 8 years worth of like just
8
like
years.
being disrespected and
You work for them, you've proved that you're responsible for them, they're not even paying you a livable, like, a correct wage.
yeah.
I guess I'm at a loss now as to what to do. I'm 8 years into this relationship and I've put everything into it.
But has he put everything into that relationship?
I stopped pursuing my dream job. I do get paid a little more here than I would in my dream job, but that doesn't matter too much to me. I moved to the city he lives in so he can remain close to his family. I've poured literal blood, sweat, and tears into his family's company through all of the nastiness, distrust, and stress. My physical and mental health have taken a serious toll, and I also have conditions that seriously affect my fertility levels. I'm concerned now that this has all been wasted on someone who does not trust me or love me as much as I do him. But I want to see if maybe I'm the one who is being unreasonable. If anyone can help me, I'd be so grateful, because I truly feel like giving up completely on everything and feel completely numb inside. We have a quick edit. I guess the main thing I want to know is whether I'm being unreasonable for asking to do a joint mortgage, even with having a legal document that would mean he is protected. Okay, we got some comments. Comment 1. I wouldn't think that you're being unreasonable, but that's only my point of view. My partner earns more than I do, but we both put in deposits for our mortgage and are able to split the mortgage payment equally. We split a lot of bills, and then he pays more towards other expenses and food, etc. Could you not have a division of the mortgage, etc., in a way that means you'd own less, but still partly yours? If you're paying for furniture and painting and bills, etc., it is not likely that could be very costly. And what do you get from all that? While he pays the mortgage and gets equity in his house? It all sounds very odd to me. Look up the sunken cost fallacy. Put yourself first. Comment 2. You're focusing on the wrong problem with the joint mortgage, which 1, no one should buy a house together before marriage, so he's right to do this alone, and 2, should be throwing red flags in your face with how this man lets his family influence all his decisions, but I digress. The bigger issue is your relationship. Please break up with this man who will never marry you, has been stringing you along, and whose family will never accept you. Don't fall prey to the sunk cost fallacy. Comment 3. Remuneration. You're not even married, so his dividends are not yours. Honestly, this sounds like a horrible life. You're overworked, underpaid, not valued, and your partner's family still keeps you hidden? What are the benefits to this relationship? Also, staying with him because of the sunk cost fallacy is not a reason. You are so young. Imagine another 8 years like this. Also, it's giving vibes that he'll leave you sooner rather than later, especially since you don't want to convert. That's the end of that.
All I know is that last commenter pretty much called it all out.
Yeah.
Girly pop. And we also said it, girly pop.
He doesn't want to marry you! Ah!
Get out. There's no point of doing this.
Moved after winning full custody of my son. My ex crashed out.
I can see why.
My wife and I got a divorce last year. Our relationship failed after she was charged with felony credit card fraud and ended up pleading guilty to a lesser charge. She has been a stay-at-home mom to our 2 sons, 5 and 3, and had taken credit cards out in my mom's name to pay for God knows what. She shattered my trust. I work full-time and make a decent living, but nothing extravagant. I had no clue what my wife was doing until cops showed up at my door with a warrant and took my wife away in cuffs and took 2 laptops as evidence. When I got the full story, I filed for divorce immediately. By the way, this comes from took my kids, am I the a-hole? And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. Aside from being a criminal, she was a good mom. She tried to justify what she did by saying she was just doing what was best for our kids, which I felt was total BS given that she never mentioned wanting for anything. And anytime she asked to spend money on something, I almost always said yes. I hired a good lawyer and asked for full custody of my kids. My ex begged me not to do that, saying that she needed her kids, but she was still looking at up to a year in jail, and nothing her lawyer said could sway the judge to grant her anything more than supervised visitation. She ended up doing 90 days in jail, paying some fines and restitution, but I've allowed her to see our sons almost every time she's asked. The last year has been total heck, but we've made it work. A few months ago, I was offered a much more lucrative position a few states away. I talked with my lawyer about what it would mean if I moved and what the process was. He said that since I have full custody, I have to file a petition with the court to move. So I told my wife what I wanted to do, and she exploded. She claimed I was stealing her kids from her, that she's made a lot of strides to get herself to a better place, and that she would fight me tooth and nail for her kids. Well, I filed the petition, got the go-ahead from the courts, and accepted the job. When the judge gave his ruling, my wife burst into tears and began sobbing. It was heartbreaking. I know in my head that I'm doing the right thing for my sons. They are young enough that a move like this won't be too traumatic, but I also feel like their lives have already been completely overturned, and I'm just adding more to that. As for my wife, she's a wreck. She's been begging me to reconsider the move, trying everything from from guilt trips, manipulation, bargaining. It's like she's going through the stages of grief. But from my point of view, she did this to herself. She lied and broke the law. I have very little sympathy for her. I know at some point she will probably try to file for partial custody, and I'm prepared for that. For now, I'm just trying to do what's best for me and my sons. Does that make me the a-hole? There is an edit. Thank you to everyone who commented, even the ones who called me a heartless a-hole for taking my sons away from their mother. This post has given me a lot of perspective, and I appreciate that. A couple things I want to clear up that I keep getting asked about that I wasn't able to include in my original post. The area my sons and I live in is a smaller community. Not everyone knows everyone, small but close. The crime my ex committed was news here. It was in the paper.
Dang.
People know about it. I get weird looks when I'm out in public. People have stopped inviting my sons to birthday parties. What?
Ouch.
I don't want my sons to be bullied and teased in school about their mother being a criminal. I'm not going to permanently alienate my sons from their mother. I will make sure they are able to talk and FaceTime with her whenever they want. I will be the one who makes the drive back in order for them to see her until she is able to make arrangements to allow her to do so. I will continue to work with my ex to make sure that she is included in things like birthdays and holidays. I know my sons and we will all need therapy from this. There is not a good mental help available where my previous job is. My new job offers on-site childcare, and I will have access to counseling and therapy for myself and my sons that we would not have access to without moving. The schools near my new job are head and shoulders above ones near my previous job. If my ex gets her life back on track and is able to move closer to us, I'm all for it. If she does the things that she needs to do in order to petition for shared custody, I don't intend on fighting her for that. But until she does that, I will not allow her anything more than the supervised visits ruled by the court. I will also not ask for any of the court-ordered child support. We won't need it. To all the people who screamed, but she's their mother. Yes, she always will be. And I remind my sons daily that their mom loves them very much and that she wishes she can be with them like before. I am angry and resentful of my wife, but I work very, very hard to not let any of those feelings impact my sons and their relationship with their mom. The final verdict is not the a-hole, and there is an update. I did end up taking the new job and moved with my sons.
Nice.
We have been settled into our new lives quite nicely over the last month, and things have been going really well. My sons love the new house. They have made friends with some other kids their age in the neighborhood. My job has been going really well, and I really couldn't have hoped for things to go better than they have. I got both of my sons into a great therapy program, and the three of us have also been doing counseling sessions together. My boys have been adjusting amazingly well, and I'm so happy and proud of how they've handled this. We've also made 2 trips back to see their mother since she is still in the process of figuring out what she will be allowed to do in the relation to her probation.
I don't know. I'm actually wondering, how far can you go? Like, is there a distance that you can
probation?
go when you're on probation?
I think it depends.
Because
I
it's
think
not
it
house arrest.
Right. We've also been doing many video calls a week with her. My sons still don't understand why their mom isn't here with us, but they do seem to grasp that this is going to be their new normal. In comparison with how well myself and my sons are adjusting, my ex is the complete opposite. She is still very angry with me and thinks I'm a complete a-hole. She's frustrated with the process of going through the courts to be allowed to move. She's frustrated that I'm not willing to drive our sons back to see her as often as she'd like. She feels like she's being marginalized in their lives and that I'm pulling them away from her. When she was complaining about all of this during our last visit, I reminded her that all of those things are consequences of her own actions, and she blew up at me by saying I'm punching her when she's already down and I didn't need to take her sons away from her. I told her how well our sons are doing and how happy they are, and she should be proud of how strong and resilient they've been. She then started begging me to please move back so that she can be closer because she's not sure the courts will allow her to move and the process is taking too long. I told her that wasn't going to happen, but if there's anything I can do with the court process, that I would be willing to help if I can. I reminded her that I haven't said anything about her not paying the court-ordered child support, but that our boys seem to be in a much better place already, and I'm not going to take that away from them. Every time we have a video call with her, as soon as she says goodbye to our sons, she starts asking me to consider moving back home. I tell her every time that it's not happening. I'm not a robot, and I do feel bad to see her so desperate and distraught, but when I look at my sons playing and laughing with their new friends, I know I've done the right thing no matter what the cost to my ex. It really
I don't
is.
want to ever take kids away from a parent.
Of course.
And I really truly in most situations, as long as the parent is a good parent, do believe that, you should have access to your kids.
So there is another update. am I the a-hole for contacting my ex's wife's probation officer after she showed up at my house 3 months later? I have full custody of my 2 sons that I have with my ex-wife. See my past posts for some backstory on our relationship and why I have full custody. Because I now live in a few states away from where my wife lives, I always knew that this holiday season was going to be difficult. For Thanksgiving this year, I made the drive back to my wife's place so that she could spend the holiday with our sons. During this visit, I talked with her about plans for Christmas and told her that due to potential winter weather and the pandemic, I would prefer not to drive the kids to her again for Christmas. She did not like this and blew up on me about how I was isolating her from the kids. This was after I just drove hundreds of miles so that we could spend Thanksgiving together.
I really think that she's going to take anything that you do as the worst possible thing. Like you are spiting, being spiteful.
Yeah. I told her this was not up for debate and that we can plan for something in the spring once the weather warms up and the pandemic hopefully calms down a
Oh,
bit.
dang. And also during the vid,
Yeah.
that's even harder.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
even harder. Like he's probably making a lot more of an effort to
Yeah.
try and get them
Because
down.
then traveling in general is just
Yeah.
compromised a bit. Yeah.
Oh.
I did, however, make sure to do a FaceTime call with her and the kids on Christmas Eve and told her that I would do the same thing on Christmas morning so that she could see the kids open the gifts that she sent to them. But when I went to call her on Christmas morning, she didn't answer. I tried back a couple of times, but she didn't answer, and the last time it went straight to voicemail. Then around dinner time, the doorbell rang. It was my ex. The boys were excited to see her, but I had a serious what the F moment. For a second, I actually thought about not even letting her in the house, but my sons were so excited to show her all their new toys that I couldn't do it. After things calmed down a bit, I asked her what the heck she was doing. She said she couldn't handle a Christmas away from her kids, so she made the drive to see them. I told her it was messed up. She did this without telling me, but she said if she told me, then I would have told her not to come. I then asked her if she got the okay from her probation officer, and she said of course she did. She then asked if she could stay for the night since she didn't have a hotel, and I allowed her to sleep in my guest room.
My question,
Yeah.
I'm like, I think she's lying. Do you think
About
she's
the
lying?
probation
Yeah, about the
officer?
probation.
Well, because of the title, I do.
I think she's lying. Before we see what OP does, because I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
we
yeah.
already know what he does.
Sure.
What would you do? Like, would you, like, on your wife who's come to be with her kids, are
Mhm.
you calling the probation officer? Like, are you?
Yeah, we definitely want to like have a conversation with
Yeah, I'd be
my
like-
wife.
Like, you can't keep doing this. We've talked about it. You don't like, you're not on board with anything I do, but I have full custody right now.
Yeah.
And I think you should just be working on getting
and, like,
yourself in order.
Right, and like, maybe if you told me that the probation officer approved it, then I would have allowed it.
Yeah, I would have been like, hey, we can plan this.
Yeah, before I went to sleep that night, I sent an email to her probation officer asking if she had really asked for permission to travel. Since it was Christmas weekend, I didn't hear back from them right away, and my ex left the next day to head back home. That Monday, I got an email from the probation officer thanking me for reaching out to them and asking for a little more information, which I provided. A couple days later, I get a call from my ex, and she's screaming at me and calling me an a-hole for contacting her probation officer. Apparently, she hadn't told them or asked them, and now she could potentially land back in jail. She is accusing me of purposefully trying to get her sent back to jail so that I can keep our kids away from her forever. That was never my intention, but I can kind of see why it looks like that to her. Does contacting her probation officer make me an a-hole? And that's the last question of the story. Oh my goodness.
That was weird.
I lost custody of my son to his babysitter.
How?
Trigger warning, this story gets progressively more crazy and disturbing, so skip it if you don't want to be disturbed right now. I, 28 female, am a single working mom. I remained pregnant after a breakup and decided to carry on the pregnancy because I was excited to become a mom. I got a 12-week unpaid maternity leave, and afterwards, since I live far away from family and had no help, I looked for a babysitter. By the way, this comes from Evening Butterfly 16. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know in the comments what you would do. As OP says, I quickly found a fellow mom, 32 female, who agreed to come to my house 5 days a week, 9 hours a day, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. She was so nice and bonded with my baby easily and seemed skilled, and I felt so calm. That's amazing.
I'm wondering what her situation with her kids is.
Yeah, she's
Like,
a mom
maybe
too.
maybe what he's a mom, but he's an older mom, and her kids are off
Yeah, in
out
school
of the
or
house
something.
already. No, she said 32, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be young mom.
Well, my
So,
mom,
like with young kids, I mean.
my mom at 32 had a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
But still, like kids that need to be taken care of is
Oh.
my point. So yeah.
I didn't give many rules, just asked for a daily summary, and said she wasn't allowed in my bedroom. Before work, I left everything we needed on the table and pumped milk in bottles in the fridge for her to use. First 2 months were great. She summarized the day, everything was in order, and the bottles were used. During my baby's 6th month, he began refusing my front airbag and wouldn't latch, though he took the bottle fine. After talking with her and reading up, I figured he was getting used to bottles, or maybe my scent was different. It was a stressful time, so I let it go since he was still fed until I couldn't pump enough anymore. I switched to formula, gave her instructions as usual, and started weaning with some solids. 2 months later, around 8 months, something felt off. In 2 days, I used more formula than she used in 5. I asked if she was using it. She said yes. I thought I might be mistaken since the baby wasn't fussy, but I set up a GoPro in the living room and an old phone recording in the kitchen. When I watched the recordings, I was horrified.
Uh-oh.
Any thoughts?
I'm assuming that
predictions?
she's feeding the baby.
She's breastfeeding the baby.
Okay.
Or front airbag.
Yeah.
The baby.
After I left, she sat on the sofa and front airbag fed my baby.
Yep.
Yikes. 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 Yikes.
She's taking place
I feel
of
like
the
you
mother.
could get her arrested for that, presumably.
Yeah, not once, but 3 times for a long time. He had refused my front airbag, but latched onto hers.
Oh, yikes.
She never went to get formula or solids for him, only to cook for herself. And she front airbag while eating, holding him with one hand under his butt. She also tried to get him to call her mama.
What?
She sat him on her lap and said, "Mama, say mama." And who am I? Mama.
Oh my goodness.
When he uttered it, she said, "That's my good boy," and kissed him. I felt
This woman is
sick
crazy.
and heartbroken.
This one is
What?
crazy. Yikes. That's jail.
Why? Why?
Jail.
Why would you
I
want
don't
to do
know.
this?
She's crazy.
Yeah?
She's crazy.
Does she even have kids?
That's a good question.
This is her kid in
She
her
says
head.
she has kids.
In her head, this is her kid.
Oh, yeah, I am a mom. To your kid.
To your kid.
You're the babysitter.
Yeah.
I confronted her in person and showed the videos. She said my son needed a real mother, not one available only 2 days a week. And she wouldn't give him formula or frozen milk, only real milk, admitting she had done it since day one. I won't repeat the rest because I wasn't polite.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm literally immediately police. I'd be like, I have proof that she did this. I have video proof of her doing it. I did not give her consent to do it. Jail.
What do you even do?
You could sue this woman's 100%. You could sue her.
I fired her immediately.
Yeah. Yes. As you should.
She breastfed my son without my consent and tried to replace me. I'm horrified and broken. I took a week off of work to process this and reconnect with my son. I feel like our family was violated. Your thoughts would be highly appreciated. Edit. She isn't local. I live in the countryside without agencies. I posted in Facebook groups and left my number. She contacted me within half an hour, asked for a photo and description of my child, and we realized she lived 40 minutes away. It seemed far, but she agreed. She admitted pouring my pumped milk down the sink to make it look used. I had given her a key for emergencies. I collected it before firing her and will change the locks. Edit 2. I had my baby checked right away. Nothing seems wrong, though I'm waiting for more in-depth analysis. It looks like she entered my bedroom. I usually lock it, but sometimes forget. Like the day I set up the cameras, I found blonde hair on my sheets and in my private bathroom's drain. I think she showered there and used my towels. I'm missing a bra and underwear. I hope they turn up in the laundry.
She literally tried to take your place. Oh, this is so freaky. She tried to take your place.
She's trying to become you.
She's trying to become you.
I suspect she took my baby outside multiple times. I bought both a stroller and a baby carrier while pregnant. I only ever used the stroller. The unopened carrier was boxed in the guest room. After this, I found it unwrapped, a bit dirty at the shoulders and smelling used. She never mentioned it, and I never told her it existed. I also remember a small car seat in her car, even though she said her daughter was 7. And 9 hours a day, 5 days a week, she could have done anything.
Yikes.
She probably isn't a mom.
Well, she could be, because someone in the chat was
okay.
saying like if she
I just saw someone say
to
a
breastfeed, she would have
skinwalker is
had to take
crazy.
hormones unless she had her own baby.
Yeah, but like the other thing is she was getting on OP. They need a real mom, not just someone there 2
Oh,
days.
yeah.
But what about your kids?
Exactly. That's a great point. And I do think she probably would have had to be taking hormones because How is she away from a baby that needs to be breastfed for 5 a.m. to or what is it, like 5 to 8 p.m.?
She might have a milking business.
Something like that. I don't know. What?
You can have a milking business
Huh?
where you stimulate your
Why do you know this?
nipples, and then you
Who
get them
informed you of
sucked
this?
for 15 minutes a day, and then after about 3 to 6 months, you can produce milk.
I'm talking about how she probably doesn't have a kid.
I know, but I'm saying
You're just adding more.
I'm
Riley?
just saying this is how she got like
Sure,
breast
sure,
milk.
sure. Okay.
What?
All right then.
What, Keon? Do you not research on how you could potentially feed your child in case something happens?
Not me.
Maybe you should.
I should get baby formula, but not me. Are you trying to? You know what? I love you. Just stop.
All right then.
You be you, man. You be you.
I'm consulting a lawyer about pressing charges. My mom is coming to help and watch my baby when I return to work. I don't feel safe hiring another babysitter. Makes sense. My baby still won't latch and seems uneasy with me. He latched once while very sleepy. He takes formula fine. I'll work to reconnect and move past this. Mothers, please be careful about who watches your children. People say it isn't my fault, but it feels like it is. So please be careful. We have comments.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's
I
hard to
mean,
realize it early on.
I would say when you're trying to find people to watch your kids, like going through, obviously you can never be like 100% certain,
Yeah.
but going through like babysitting apps where they have to be vetted and have like reviews or
Mhm.
people that that's how I babysat. Like it was either people that I was recommend, like friends being like, hey, Sophia babysits. Do you need, like, I know this person that needs a babysitter, and doing that way, or going through an app. So that's one way to feel a little bit more reassured about who you're, letting watch your kids.
Yeah.
But it isn't your fault. You didn't know. And the second that you found out, kicked her out.
Comment number 1, take time with your baby, but you shouldn't minimize the situation. You need to contact a doctor in case she can give him something through the milk. Also, you should also contact the police.
Big, yes.
She is crazy and could do that to others, so press charges now.
Agreed.
Yeah, and definitely,
Yeah, make sure that like everyone knows on Facebook, be like, this person, name, blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
did this to my kid.
yeah, definitely.
Put it out there.
ASAP. Comment 2, I would call the police. That has to be illegal. Reply, hate to be that guy because I'm equally disgusted by this story and came to the comments hoping a lawyer had chimed in. But what exactly would the charge be? Feeding a hungry child? I hope OP finds something to charge her with and lands like the hammer of Thor, because what the babysitter did was a violation of trust and of OP's family. Exactly what OP said. But I'm at a loss as to what would even be illegal. Immoral, yes. Effing evil, yes. But illegal? This is a totally effed up situation, and I hope OP gets justice. I just don't see what the legal system could do. I hope I'm wrong and a lawyer has chimed in somewhere saying, do this, but I don't know.
There's no way that that's not illegal. I would be shocked. I would be shocked if that wasn't illegal.
Is it illegal to breastfeed someone that's not my child without the consent of the mother? Here,
I
let's look it
mean,
up. One
just
sec.
the fact that it involves being partially
Is it
like
illegal
unclothed.
to breastfeed a child that's not mine without the consent of another mother? Okay, yes, it can be illegal and is generally discouraged to breastfeed a child that is not
Generally
your own
discouraged.
Generally
without the consent of
discouraged.
the mother due to potential health risk and legal ramifications.
Yeah.
As the act can be considered unauthorized touching or a child
Exactly.
endangerment without
It's
proper
literally-
consent.
It involves being unclothed in front of a child that is not your child. Obviously, that's illegal. I don't know what that commenter was thinking. Oh, immoral? Not illegal. What do you mean it's not illegal? That's so obviously illegal.
All right, update. In the last 20 days, a lot has happened. My baby is okay after an in-depth analysis, which relieved me, but that is only the good news. Just take a moment.
That's the only good news?
Let's just take
Everything else is bad?
let's just take a moment. Say thank
Come
you to that.
on.
That's why we started with the bad news first.
Yeah.
Whatever
I prefer
there's
a
more
sandwich. I prefer good news, bad news, good news.
of. Whatever there's more of, lead with the less amount. If there's more
I
good
prefer
news,
good news, bad news, good news.
lead with the bad news.
Anyway, let's hear the bad news.
Spoke to a lawyer and the police. But in my country, there is no laws against front airbag feeding someone else's child without consent unless disease is knowingly transmitted.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
How are there no laws against that?
The disease.
How?
Can you make up one? Doctor, can you do something? Here's $20. What
How
can
is
you
there
do?
no laws.
Diagnose.
That's insane.
It also isn't a harmful act because my baby cannot testify.
What?
The baby can. Goo goo gaga. That's not my mama.
That's crazy.
If anything, well, here's the scary part, because if the baby does testify in a way, he knows how to say mama with the babysitter.
Yeah. And she's like, see? And they're like, well, this child is that woman's mother. That's
Oh, dude, the baby.
Please bring
That's
the
that
witness up to
child's mother.
the stage.
Wah.
who's your mother? Mama.
Mama.
Well-
Point to your mother. Say mama when we show pictures of the babysitter.
Not great. Not great.
Yeah.
I showed the tapes, but they said he willingly accepted her front airbag.
What?
I feel powerless, and I'm still talking to my lawyer, but the chances are very low.
I'm sorry. Their excuse was, well, he seemed to like it. He's a baby.
I need to know what country this is, because this is crazy.
That's crazy. I'm sorry.
Hear me out.
I'm sorry.
In this country, cannibalism of this, like if you feed a chicken, well, the chicken ate the chicken.
Yeah, the
seemed to
chicken
like
ate it. That's what it sounds like. It's literally, well, the chicken liked it. What's wrong with that?
Oh my gosh.
It's like in the show Hannibal. If Hannibal's defense, when they were like, you fed a bunch of people human meat. And he was like, well, they liked it.
Would that happen?
Yeah, it's the show Hannibal. It's
That's
about a
who
cannibal.
Hannibal Lecter is, yeah.
Or being like, you know what? Another thing, if a teacher groomed a a student, at, like in Pretty Little Liars, that girl is in a relationship with her
think of this.
teacher. I've also never seen Pretty Little Liars. Like the student, she has a relationship with her teacher, and she's into it. So if their excuse was, oh well, no, I wanted to be on that. Like, no, this excuse makes no sense. I hate that. You have a bad lawyer.
Your country's weird.
Yeah.
No offense.
All right, let's get back to it.
I'm so bothered by this. Oh man.
So if someone kidnaps a baby and the baby's like chill with it, that's fine too.
That's on the baby.
Yeah, that's
baby
the
willing-
baby's fault.
This literally
that baby
sounds-
went with that person.
Low key.
I feel like this
willingly.
judge is gonna be like well, let's just decide who the baby wants to go with. And the baby's like, mama, to the babysitter, and the judge is like, well, baby wants to be with that lady, so sorry, OP, can't have your baby
I
anymore.
guarantee you the court would be like, well, you let her babysit.
Yes. Okay, let's find out what happened. I need to know.
I spoke to her again to confirm what she did. She admitted taking my son out often using the carrier or stroller, front airbag feeding him in public, and taking him on car trips for errands more than a dozen times. She said there was nothing wrong with it. She admitted passing my baby off as hers because it was simpler when talking to other moms. She confirmed showering in my room and resting the baby on my bed, saying she didn't remember my rule. She claimed she borrowed my bra and underwear and put them in the laundry, which I never found. When I asked why, she said my son needed a real caring mother like her, that a mother who works most of the week is not enough, and I would never be enough. I ended the call.
Yikes. She's crazy.
Delulu.
Crazy.
I tried warning other mothers on Facebook, but posts were removed for defamation and hate speech. My mom is helping. Things are getting back to normal, but I feel powerless. I plan to start therapy when I can. My son still doesn't seem at ease with me, and he won't latch on at all. It hurts, but I need to be strong for him. Thank you for reading my venting. I hope nothing like this ever happens to any mother. We have another update.
Oh man,
Oh,
I need to know.
This is why we have another update. I remember the title.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh no.
Oh. Uh-oh. Ming Ming says, hopefully you recorded that, OP. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope so. I really freaking hope so. Yeah, Kim Fine says she's LARPing as you, OP.
She's gonna change her name to your name.
Yeah, probably. Probably gonna have like an identity fraud case going on here.
You,
Yikes. I'm scared, OP.
I don't like this.
You need to get a better lawyer.
That's the thing, though. It's not the lawyer's fault.
Yeah.
This is the country's literal laws. There are no laws for this,
OP,
which is
what-
insane.
No laws,
Where do you
Batman.
live, and why has this not ever happened before where you live?
Because I hope the main reason is because it's never happened before.
Hopefully.
Update 2. I started therapy straight away. As of now, I'm still attending with the help of antidepressants. Unfortunately, they are the only thing keeping me straight in this situation. I made a couple of posts a while ago describing what happened with my former babysitter, and after 2 months in therapy, she filed a petition for third-party child custody rights. I was
Huh?
mind blown when I was notified of such an event and thought it could never happen. But from a legal standpoint, she's using the fact that she was my son's babysitter for 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for 5 months before getting unjustly fired, and is filing for extreme neglect on my part.
That is such a whoa. I'm sorry. If you live in a country where this lady is able to get your child after this claim, move.
That's crazy.
That would be insane.
She was
because
hired as a babysitter.
She was hired as a babysitter. You were paying her, presumably, and then you fired her because, one, she went against your rules of don't go into my bedroom, and also was breastfeeding your baby against your consent.
This is actually legit wild.
That is insane.
We
that
have
would be insane.
never, ever, ever, ever heard of a story like this
If your
before.
country allows this, what?
Where do you live? This is completely false, but it's proof. She's using text messages where I wrote to her at different times after 8 p.m. that I was coming back home in half an hour or so, sometimes even on Saturdays. This happened 5 or 6 times since I worked overtime in extreme cases. But since we never signed any contract or registered/texted the details, I have no proof to demonstrate that this wasn't real. Also, she's using the fact that she didn't have a regular work contract to her advantage, showing proof of deposits to her bank account every month from me. I feel so stupid because I'm the one who proposed avoiding cash and using bank transfers since I usually keep track of all my expenses that way.
Wait, why do you feel stupid? That's perfect. You have proof that you were paying her to have a job that was babysitting for your child.
She's even using the fact that I'm on antidepressants to try and prove that I'm unfit to be the mother of my child. Been like 5 months of this, and a week ago I went to court for the last time. I tried to rebuke every claim by proving my work shifts, but since I live on the countryside, it's hard to prove that I came back home constantly at 5 p.m.
It doesn't matter if you came home late. I'm sorry. The amount, literally almost every person that I have ever babysat for has come back late at some time or other.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was able to go to court and say, well, they came back late, so I should be able to parent their children, that would be insane.
I tried asking my neighbors, but they couldn't testify in my favor since they couldn't be 100% sure.
What?
What neighbors are those?
Your neighbors are like,
You're like, you go into your neighbors and you're like, hey, my babysitter's trying to steal my baby. Can you say something? And they're like, I don't know, man.
Are you sure that she's not the mother and you're the babysitter?
Yeah, we haven't seen you around.
The tapes were also of no use, since according to her, we agreed her front airbag feeding him, and she was taking good care of him. Obviously false, but again, I had no proof. In 2 weeks, the judge will deliberate, and my situation is looking really, really grim.
How?
Wait, that makes no sense.
You must have the worst lawyer in the world.
That makes no sense. How, if you have no proof, then
And
how does
she's
she
got
have
no proof. Yeah.
Then how does she have proof of, she said I can do this?
I'm sorry. If I go to a judge and I say, yeah, I fired her because she was breastfeeding my baby and I didn't know. And then I got video footage of her doing it. And then the babysitter goes, no, we agreed on it. If I'm the judge and I'm not a complete idiot, I'm going, oh, well, obviously this babysitter's a liar. How is this possibly in any world grim for OP?
This is crazy.
What? Again, I need to know what country this is.
Because move out of that country.
This is insane. If this is real.
Yeah, Miss Kitty Cat says, what about the police report that she tried to file?
This feels like a nightmare. My antidepressants are literally the only thing keeping me on my feet, along with the support of my therapist and my mother. But I'm going crazy with social services keeping a constant eye on my child and rushing in and out of my house. It's stressing me out like crazy. I feel like I don't have any chance and that I'm losing my son forever. I don't even want to write this here, but I don't want to stress my mother or repeat this again and again to my therapist. I feel like it's all my fault, that I should have taken a part-time job instead of keeping a full-time one. I'm sorry this feels incoherent or like I'm rambling, but I really, really need to be listened to in order to keep my sanity. I can't believe this is real. Update 3. Oh my gosh.
Where do you live?
This cannot be a real place.
Where do you live?
Is this actually real? Hannah says. I don't even know at this point.
Anymore.
This is crazy.
I don't know. I have nothing to say because I need to know how this happened.
Update 3. A lot of Redditors in the past 6 months reached out to me worried about my situation. Honestly, I don't even want to give an update because I feel so ashamed of myself that it's hard not to burst out crying. The court's decision came through months ago, and against every shred of hope I had, custody of my son was granted to my former babysitter.
What? Everyone who is involved in that case should lose their jobs. They should lose their jobs. Because how are you taking custody away from a woman who is literally going to work to provide a house and care for her child? We have no proof that she has provided any unsafe conditions for her child, that she's done anything unsafe. The only unsafe thing that's happened is the babysitter. This doesn't make sense. Miss Kitty Cat says she's a terrible lawyer if this is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, she must have had a terrible lawyer if she lost custody to her babysitter.
Maybe the former babysitter was in on everything. Bribed.
Yeah, probably.
Here's my conspiracy theory. Babysitter found out she was never going to have kids on her own, couldn't find a partner, wasn't able to be pregnant. So
She stole a kid.
she stole a kid. She
This
went on
is
Facebook
literally
Marketplace
kidnapping.
and found a way to steal this child and knew everything because this is going so easy. And also the fact that she's proving everything. She's such a villain.
Ming Ming says, why would the babysitter have more claim than the grandmother?
You know,
Any other family member? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like I feel like the babysitter planned all this because she knows all the laws and was like, yeah, I did this and that. Yeah, we agreed on this on the first day.
I literally don't. I'm like, I don't believe this. I can't believe this is real.
Legally, the decision was based on the extensive time my son spent under her care, me being considered unfit due to my antidepressant medication
Insane.
and the absence of a formal work contract.
Also insane.
The court perceived her daily involvement in my son's life as taking on a parental role. They decided that she was the one providing my son with emotional, physical, and developmental needs, something they ruled I wasn't doing. Even if I was working to provide for him, the court said my working routine amounted to extreme neglect.
That's a lie. What are you talking about? Really quick. It's not neglect if OP is paying for a person to care for her child.
Wait, for them, she was the one raising my son, and to protect his welfare, she would continue doing so. I was shattered.
This doesn't make sense. It's not neglect if OP was literally paying someone to take care of her child so that she could pay to have her child in a safe environment and be cared for. She's literally going to work to support her child. This doesn't make any sense. These people are corrupt.
This is wild. The moment when they handed my son over to her was beyond agony. She took him in her arms. She kissed him like he was her world. Moreover, my son immediately tried to unbutton her blouse to accept her front airbags, something he never did with me. He started crying like crazy when he couldn't manage, while the babysitter looked at him with a loving smirk. I think that was the moment I realized that for him, I wasn't anything. I wasn't his mom, wasn't family. For him, the babysitter was his mother. I can't describe what I felt, other than realizing I worked full-time and ultimately lost my son to another woman. I felt defeated, and as much as I hate to admit it, I accepted the defeat.
This is insane.
Because no one was fighting for you.
This can't be true. I don't understand how this could possibly happen.
How is this kid going to grow up and find out?
Yeah, like, oh yeah, you're my babysitter? You stole me from my mom?
Well, the thing is, the babysitter's going to twist him like, no. She was a terrible person. She
unfit.
was
She
never
was a
there for
terrible
you.
mom.
I'm your mother.
What the heck?
Feeling so broken, I went to have a chat with her. I asked her to please at least let me visit my son and get updates on him. She accepted, but with conditions. I cannot touch him or hold him. She will hold him for the entire visit, and she will be the one arranging the dates. I accepted out of pure desperation. I don't know what got into me, but after that, I held my tears and asked her why she was so obsessed with my son that she even took him away from me legally. She replied that she felt I was unfit as a mother and that my baby was so beautiful and needy that he needed a real mother who could raise him properly. She's just saying that. That's not really the reason.
I'm also very confused because she took that as a job. What is her job? How is she supporting this baby? Other than the time.
She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have a job. She was doing that 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
You were
She
getting
doesn't have a
paid to take
job.
care of that baby.
She legally stole a baby and doesn't even have a job to support the baby?
I'm so confused.
I don't.
This is crazy. She said she loves breastfeeding and told me she loved the sensation when she breastfed.
Well, that sounds really weird and icky.
It was something she never experienced with her daughter or with other babies. She said he just sucked her.
I don't like that. I hate that.
She said she liked it so much that she had to become his mother. After that, I felt dizzy and on the verge of passing out, but she continued. She told me not to worry about him because she will do an amazing job raising him. She said she would make him fully dependent on her, just like a good baby should be with his mother, and she had no intention of weaning him off or stop breastfeeding. And since he likes my front airbags and milk so much, I don't think I'll ever stop. Those exact words still echo in my head.
This can't be true. It's got to be a fake story. It's got to be. Because if the mom is saying all of this, or the babysitter's saying all this, I'm recording all of it and going, judge, freak alert.
They don't care, dude. Oh my gosh. She also said she doesn't trust schools. So she would homeschool him just like she did with her daughter. Then she walked off telling me I should leave the mother role to the better fitted one. After that, I drowned myself in work to avoid facing reality. I cut most of my social relations because it's hard to explain what happened. I feel so ashamed, like I did everything wrong. The only friends I kept, along with my mother, told me I should fight to get my son back. But I'm so broken mentally that I don't have the strength. I'm also going to my therapist, but she doesn't seem to help. I'm relying on the antidepressants more than ever and on my work, which at least gives me a reason to get out of the bed in the morning.
What?
Dude, just like
I
no
need you to
one-
finish this story. I need it to be done.
I visited my son less than 10 times in the 4 months. My life revolves around working and waiting for a text from the babysitter so I can see him. Sometimes she texts, sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes she greets me while breastfeeding him. It's hard to keep my composure, but he seems so calm and in love with her, and that's the only thing keeping me sane. He looks at her in a way he never looked at me. She arranges visits in public spaces like parks or bars,
She's bringing a baby to a bar?
and they never last more than 20 minutes. She always brings her daughter, who clings to her mother and never leaves her side, not
Okay,
even
so
for a
she
second.
does have a daughter who she was, after that whole talk about, you need to be there for your kids, she's supposedly homeschooling this daughter, but she leaves the daughter alone from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.?
I'm saying there's too many plot holes here.
There's too many plot holes.
I don't like this at
But,
all.
but
I
also,
don't, I
is
don't
that-
think this is real.
Is that her daughter or is that somebody else's kid?
Yeah, that's I was thinking
Either
that too.
someone's lying, like, massively, like, she's lying about, she's got a whole, I don't know,
This is so weird.
sting operation going on, or someone's lying.
She just buries her face in her mother and never looks at me like I'm a monster. I hope my son doesn't become like this. Just the thought drives me insane. The visits usually consist of me watching whatever she does with my son. I can't even touch him, or she calls off the visit. This sometimes even means watching her nurse him while saying how amazing her baby is and how great of a mother she is. It destroys me mentally and physically, but I need to see my son. You need to watch more stories like this on your favorite podcast platform. Just search OK Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. I'm going to finish this.
Finish it
Finish
off.
it.
This gotta be fake.
One time when she was leaving, I think I overheard her daughter asking for her front airbags when they got back. I really hope I misheard. Just thinking about
Probably
how it
didn't.
makes me shiver and cry. Knowing my son is with someone like that woman and might become like that. I would like to try and get my baby back, but I don't have the mental strength. It feels like the legal system betrayed me and I don't see myself having a chance. I feel so stupid, like I lost everything because I was careless. Can we look up some more stuff for this? This is insane.
Are all the comments just saying this is fake?
No, a lot of the comments
What?
are like, so sorry for your loss of the baby. Hope you can get it back. But this is from like the last update was from 2 years ago, and that's it. There's
I
no other-
literally don't believe this story. And I never say this about stories. I never say they're fake because I try to give advice, regardless of whether or not I think the story is real. I can't believe this story is real. I cannot believe it's real. It just simply can't be real. That's crazy.
I tried to look for like any sense
Can
of
you do
it.
Control F fake?
Yeah. Let's see if anyone's saying
I did
this
on the
is
most
fake.
recent, the last update, but everyone is just
No one is clocking this story. There's just no way that the legal system would give your child away to a babysitter.
It's probably the worst story I've ever read.
there was one comment on the third update where it's like, there's no way this is real.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
Just one comment. Is it popular?
Not as popular now.
Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. That's the end of that story, though.
I really don't have any thoughts on this. That was a nightmare.
That was a nightmare.
I feel like I'm still asleep and I need to wake up.
I feel
And-
like I'm in a nightmare.
A very surreal nightmare.
This would not happen in the U.S. No, that would be insane. Like
Here
a
we go, here we go.
babysitter getting rights over any like other family members is crazy.
I'm baffled.
That just
I
makes
just-
zero sense to me.
If a teacher said, I teach these kids from 8 to 3 p.m. and I'm watching this person's kids more than they're watching their
And feeding
kids.
them. Not even airbag, but just feeding
Yeah,
them.
just feeding them. I deserve to have their kids. That would be crazy. You can't just take someone's kid. She was being paid to do a job, and OP had proof that she was paying this person.
I need more evidence. I need to see the court
Yeah.
case. I need.
Please
Can we
prove
PM
this
her?
is true. OP, prove it.
Prove it. I want to see it. I'm gonna get the next one ready.
Stepdaughter stole my son's car, and now everything is in shambles.
Get out my car.
I have a son, Max, 18 male, with my ex, and a stepdaughter, Kelly, 21 female. My wife, Jamie, and I share a daughter, 7 female. Since we got married 8 years ago, I have put equal amounts of money towards college and things like a car for Max and Kelly. The amount I saved was enough for Kelly to live at home and go to a local state school. The amount I put away for a car was just enough to buy a very old used car that would run, but not much more. By the way, this comes from user FitUse9417, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. While I have put equal money away for them both over the last 8 years, Max also has access to money from my ex and my ex's parents. So he got a brand new full-sized SUV when he turned 16. His mom paid for it, and it's in her name. She also pays the insurance. In the fall, he will be going to college out in California. We live in the Midwest. He's also been across the world with his mom. Kelly would like to travel, but does not have the money to do so. Because of these things, there has been some jealousy from Kelly towards my son. Additionally, Kelly has a set of 6 friends who she's been close to for the whole 10 years I've known her. Early last week, I was out of town for work. Jamie, with our youngest, was visiting her sister. Kelly and Max were the only people at home. The youngest of Kelly's close friend group, who also recently got engaged, Annie, turned 21 last week. A lot of them were only in town through last week because they're starting internships this week. The group wanted to get together and celebrate Annie's birthday and engagement. Kelly asked to use Max's car so they could be in one vehicle for the night. Kelly said she would not be drinking and would be the designated driver. Max told her no. Max usually goes to bed around 9:30-ish. He went to bed and Kelly took his keys and took the car. Around midnight, he woke up to use the bathroom and saw the car was gone. He got on the app and saw the location of his car. He got his spare keys, took an Uber to the location, got in the car, and drove it home. A couple of hours later, Kelly called Max, frantic. She told him the car might have been stolen. One of the other girls was on the phone with the police. Max told her, nope, the car's at home. He came and got it. She then said, how is she supposed to get home? He told her that was for her to figure out and hung up. Kelly does not use ride shares because of a creepy experience a couple of years ago that left her a bit traumatized. Kelly called Jamie and told her about the situation. Jamie called Max and demanded he pick up Kelly. He refused. Jamie called me and told me about the situation and told me to make Max pick her up. I told her Max is in the right and I'm not going to make him pick her up. Kelly got home, but it took an hour of calling around so everyone could be picked up. When my wife and I got back home a few days later, we had a family discussion about it. Jamie asked both that Kelly and Max apologize to each other. Max refused because he did nothing wrong. Kelly got upset and said Max gets everything while she gets nothing. I told Kelly that if she feels what her mother and I have worked and sacrificed to give her is nothing, she is free to not take our money and pay tuition in the fall, and she can move out at any time. Comments here. Comment 1, info. Do you know what story Kelly spun to Jamie about the car? Get to the bottom of that first. OP says, I know what she told her. All the facts are agreed to by Max and Kelly. It's not a situation where Max is saying one thing and Kelly's saying another. OP responds to a comment on having Max's car at his ex's house since the car is under the ex-wife's name. Deal with the consequences. OP says, why would I tell my son he can't have his car at the house? If Kelly can have her car at the house, so can Max. This incident is not a consequence of them having different cars. It's a consequence of Kelly acting way out of line. This would be like me banning Kelly from having drinks in the house because Max can't have it. I gave them each the exact same amount of money for a car. OP responds to another comment on why Max was having a better car. OP says, as someone who grew up on food stamps, I consider it incredibly strange to think walking away from a good 4-year without debt is nothing. That is insane. I'm the first person with a high school diploma in my bloodline. Regarding Max, in order to get his car, he had to meet a bevy of conditions regarding grades, volunteering, working, extracurriculars, chores, etc. In order to keep it, he had to meet additional conditions. Regarding him going to college, his mom gave him a list of 30 colleges for which she would pay for. He got into multiple of these schools and is going to one of them in California. Everything Max has gotten from his mom has come with a number of conditions. Everything Max and Kelly have received from my wife and I have not. He has had to do a whole lot of things to get what he has. Where is Kelly's father in all of this? What about Kelly's extended family members who can help with Kelly's funds? OP replies, her dad is in and out of rehab and or jail and has been the whole time I've been around. He grew up in foster care. My wife's parents are retired teachers and live on a tight budget, so in terms of financial contribution, do not have much to give. My wife is a stay-at-home mom. So really, if I did not put money aside for Kelly, she would not have many options to pay for school other than student loans. And she would be limited in loans she could get because my income is fairly high and would have been included on the FAFSA application. Comment number 2, not the a-hole. I think Max's mother should be involved. She pays the insurance and probably has her and Max's name on it. You said there's been some jealousy, which probably means Kelly treats Max badly. Max does not need to apologize because he did nothing wrong. Get Max a lockbox so his keys won't be stolen again. OP says, I didn't put it in the post, but I told her that if she ever does something like this again, it will be a call to the police and she will be removed from the house, no questions asked. I did not put it in the post because those are conditions that Jamie agrees with me on, so it's not part of a conflict. Comment 3 says, it's interesting she agrees with that, but doesn't think her entitled 21-year-old adult should be apologizing for stealing someone's vehicle. Not only should she make sure she apologizes, but she should make her thank your son for not reporting his vehicle stolen.
Low-key, she reported herself stealing the vehicle by calling the cops and being like, the car is gone, it's been stolen.
Yeah, she stole it first.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
kinda crazy work.
By you? Did you steal the car? She definitely should apologize for taking it still.
Yeah. Jamie should also be thanking you for paying for her daughter and providing for her when she thinks so lowly of your son and you allow it. OP says she does think Kelly should apologize, and Kelly has apologized. The conflict is over whether Max should apologize to Kelly. Everyone agrees Kelly should apologize to Max, including Kelly. OP clarifies how Max and Kelly receive treatments and things from their families. OP says, how has Max been treated differently by me? I cannot, nor should I dictate what his mom can or cannot do for him. And they both have been spoiled. Kelly has received things from my wife's family to the exclusion of Max. There was a while early in our marriage where Kelly's dad had some money and bought her a number of very nice things. Diamond earrings,
Oh, wow.
$1,000 purse, etc. And I did not interfere with that. On the rare occasion he has paid child support, that money has gone directly to Kelly. The reason I have been able to save as much as I have for Kelly is because Max's mom gifted me the house in the divorce. So Kelly has tangentially benefited from her generosity. Plus, all of the things Max gets from my ex come with a number of conditions. He is not getting them automatically. OP on the living situation with Jamie and Kelly. OP says, we did not move into Kelly's space. Kelly moved into ours. Max had a bedroom and a separate room for all of his games and toys. He had to give up his game/toy room, and that became Kelly's room. I spoke to Max, and Jamie spoke to Kelly long before we got married, and made sure they were okay with everything. And there's an update. And I don't think that she moved in when he was 16.
No, she
But-
moved in a while ago. I think
Yeah.
that saying like, and he had to give up his gaming room for her to move in is a little like, well, yeah, she's moving into the house. Where did you want her to sleep?
Well, no, it is. It's like, imagine like,
It would
I don't know
still
when she
suck, but
moved
it's
in, but
like-
imagine he's like 12.
For sure,
And, then it's
and
like,
any
it's
little
that's
kid's gonna
something
be
that'll
like bummed
breed
about it.
contentment or
But at the same
discontent.
time, like, yeah, no crap, the human is gonna get the room over your video games.
But we have another update. 2.5 weeks later. A couple of days ago, Kelly asked Max to use his car to pick up a TV she had bought. Before the incident in the original post, on a few occasions, Max had used his car to help Kelly transport something. Max refused Kelly's request and told her he will not be helping with things like that in the future. Kelly talked to Jamie, and Jamie just matter of fact told Kelly that this was a consequence of her actions, and she needed to learn to deal with it. That went over about as well as a lead balloon. Kelly got pissed at Jamie and said she's moving out and she does not need our money. Jamie said she was being incredibly ungrateful and selfish, but told her she was free to leave. So Kelly is planning on being gone by July 1st. By the way, you never have to stay gone from full episodes with stories like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to a whole smorgasbord worth of episodes. Comment 1, I still can't get over the fact this brat stole your son's car, and then when he took it back, her and her mother somehow thought he was the bad guy. OP, you were not the a-hole in the first post, and you're not the a-hole now. I am curious, though, what brought on the change from your wife? OP says, I think people got the wrong impression. Jamie always thought Kelly was wrong. She backed me up when I told Kelly if she ever does something like that again, police will be called, and she'll be removed from the house. She thinks Max still should have picked Kelly up. It is not because she thinks what Kelly and Max did are equivalent, but she felt they both did something wrong, even if Max's actions were only slightly wrong in her mind. She thinks Kelly's actions are egregious, but Max still should have picked her up and was wrong for not doing so. Comment 2, ask your wife why she didn't call a taxi to take all the young women home. A taxi isn't a rideshare. A taxi driver is a licensed professional working for a local business. That's why they're more expensive. Okay, why didn't your wife insist that her daughter contact parents of the other 6 girls to come and get them? Neither one of you has a single adult friend who would have picked them up as a favor. Your wife's critical thinking skills are lacking.
Why are we coming for the wife so much.
I hope just here and that this is not a pattern with her because she comes across as brainless in your post. Her inability to think of some very obvious solutions are not your son's problem. OP says, our local taxi service isn't 24 hours and this was at 2:30 in the morning on a weekday. Plus, Kelly is uncomfortable about using any service where someone, usually a man, would be driving her around. One of the other girls' parents did come get some of them, and some of them got rides from a friend. And that is the end of that story. Yeah, that last commenter needed some critical thinking skills of their own.
Parents disowned me for my past. Now they'll never meet their grandson.
Ooh.
Trigger warning for substances. In 2020, I, 30, did something horrible to my family by stealing from them to fund my regular use problem. I stole some electronics, including old cell phones, a game console, and a Blu-ray player to buy substances. I cannot and will not justify these actions and fully accept them as my own and their consequences. By the way, this comes from Moose External 6886, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I was caught and my family became aware of my regular use. It was hard to see my parents realize what was happening, but the hardest was seeing how heartbroken my 17-year-old little sister was. They dropped me off at a rehab center where I spent 3 months getting detoxed and sober. I did not hear from them while I was in there. I tried calling them to let them know how I was, but I never received an answer. The day I got out, I went back home. My family there informed me that they would no longer be considering me a member of the family and that I was to leave the home and not contact any of them for any reason.
So that feels like a misstep on their part.
I just don't understand the simultaneous, like, we're sending you to rehab so you can get help, and then also, now that you've got help, we're not talking to you ever again.
Yeah, we really loved that Blu-ray player.
I attempted to stay with other family, but when I contacted my grandparents, I was told that my parents had called them and several others to tell them that if they kept contact with me in any capacity, they would cut off contact with them as well. I was able to see how my sister was doing via my mother's Facebook posts, but after liking one, I was messaged and told that I am allowed to look at the posts, but all of their family members will be blocking me and I am not to interact with my mother's posts. I was completely destroyed and left on the streets.
You're going to send him to rehab and then
That doesn't
immediately
make
make him
sense to
homeless?
me.
Like,
That
right
doesn't
after
make
he
sense.
recovered from a substance use disorder? Like, you're just going to throw him back into it.
I stayed in a homeless shelter and got a menial job, enough to get a rundown apartment, and slowly put my life together. I went through therapy to process the extreme guilt I felt. I focused on work, did online school, enough to finish my degree from when I dropped out at 21. I was able to secure myself at a very good position, several states away, and move there as soon as I could. 3 years ago, I met the woman who is now my wife. Her father went through a similar struggle with regular use, and her family welcomed me with open arms. Last year, we got married, and 3 months ago, we welcomed our son into the world. Of course, being a proud new dad, I posted my boy all over social media to show him off to the world. Since then, I have been inundated with calls and messages telling me that my parents want to meet my son. I have no plans to allow that. My family abandoned me at my lowest and actively worked to cut me off from any familial support I could have had. I am not owed forgiveness for my actions, but I cannot pretend that what they did was anything less than complete disownment of me at my most vulnerable. I told them, not very politely, that I do not consider them my real family, and that they are to come nowhere near me, my wife, our son, or anyone related to us. I have been getting messages daily about how I never earned their love back, and am cheating them out of having a son again. And thus I owe this to them from my parents and others.
Hey, so fun fact, I was still your son. So you kind of cheated yourself out of this.
Yeah, because you disown me. I am not giving in at all, nor do I ever plan to. Am I the a-hole? And there is an edit, but no.
I'm climbing up to the top of like the Matterhorn and I'm screaming no at the top of my lungs.
They literally only have come back because they want to see their grandson. That's it. They don't care about you. There have been a lot of replies along a broad spectrum of opinions and takes. I may not have replied to them all, but I did read them. For now, I'm stepping back. My wife and I have decided that we are going to be speaking with my parents via a video call and discussing the past 5 years and where everyone stands as of today to gauge where we all are and decide how to move forward. I will be taking everything I have read here into consideration in how I decide to approach this situation. I have seen a lot of people wanting updates. I will post an update on this when the dust has settled, and I can say with some certainty what is going to be happening. Thank you all for your words of kindness and otherwise. Every one of them is appreciated. And there is an update. A little bit back, I posted a thread on the sub. I wanted to add clarity to one part is that my family did not pay for my stay in rehab. That makes a little bit more sense why they were so willing to drop you then.
Yeah, that
because I was wondering why you would pay for rehab and then just completely abandon.
Well, I was thinking that it was like, well, yeah, you cost us so much money and you stole from us and blah blah blah, but it almost makes it make even less sense in a way.
I was making less than $20,000 per year, and my employer only offered an HSA for health benefits, so I qualified for Medicaid and had been on that since I moved out of the house. Medicaid in my state pays for the cost of inpatient rehab, and this is how my treatment was funded. For the sake of brevity, and so that I do not dwell on it longer than I should, I will briefly run through some relevant context and a short summary of what my father expressed to me during our conversation. To add some context that I think explains his mindset, I will give some of my father's history here. He came from China to the U.S. to attend college and fell in love with the country. My father hates China and communism. He saw America as a land where he could have the opportunity to thrive in ways he could not in his home country. So he married an American woman and stayed here, starting his own business. My father's dream was that one day he would pass this business down to his son, then to his grandson, continually passed down as his legacy. He was very much a tiger parent, and my mother, having always been very submissive, followed suit. I had been told from a young age that this is what my future would be, and my life was curated around it, down to what university I would attend and my major. All of this will give context to my father's position. The call was just me, my wife, and my father. It was a long and awkward conversation, but here is the gist of it. My father regards my bi-ness and my decision to not finish college as direct actions of ungratefulness to his efforts in raising me, and feels that I have not been thankful that he did not take action against me earlier. Me being bi still left room to marry a woman and have children, so he didn't interfere with it. He could still teach me how to manage the business, even if I needed to hire others to help with the physical labor involved with it. So he got past the fact that I dropped out of college. I'm sorry, he's coming at you and he's like, you disappointed me. Everything you've done has been awful and terrible, but you could still help with the family business.
Yeah, you can still
You're welcome.
pass on my legacy.
You're welcome. No, OP's doing fine without you. He doesn't need to work for you and then be under your thumb even more.
He pulled himself up by his bootstraps and made a whole life for himself. You don't need to be a part of it anymore, just like you didn't want to be a part of it when he needed
Yeah,
you.
you just say, oh, I really wish I could, but you did disown me. However, it was not the stealing that broke the camel's back to him. It's the fact that I used substances at all. He was upset that I had stolen from the house, but to him, it was ultimately inconsequential compared to me abusing a substance. The fact that I used substances at all meant that I could not be trusted with his legacy. And since I could not contribute to the family legacy, it was necessary to cut me out of the family entirely to avoid the shame of having a regular user among them. He made it clear that this is how he felt then, and that his feelings have not changed, nor will they ever change, no matter how clean I stay or how successful I become because I ruined his dream. Despite this, I owe him a debt of gratitude by leaving the family vacant of a son to pass his legacy down. Now that I have a son of my own, there is a potential my father's legacy could be passed down to him. As someone who used substances, this necessitates him and my mother stepping in to assure my son is properly raised into the position I was to inherit. You're not going to be anywhere around my son. No.
What is just a psycho position to take?
I did not get to speak to my mother to ask her about the messages she had sent me. The call ended pretty abruptly when my wife realized that it was not a conversation that would go anywhere. I was in a bad spot for the weekend after that Friday night. I cannot express with words how thankful I am that my wife was there to help me stay sane. I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing every possible thing I can to be as much of a rock for her as she is for me. Right now, most of that is in the form of taking on any and all housework in addition to doing my part to take care of the baby while her body recovers. As our son grows up, I'll be finding new ways to let her know how much I appreciate her. As for the future, this is what we've decided. On my part, I'm going to work a lot less. For those wondering, I ended up being a technical writer, and it's a job I'm quite good at. It also pays for us to live very comfortably, even if I go well below a full-time work schedule. When I met my wife, I used work as my distraction. Marco Pierre White was correct when he said work is the best painkiller mankind has ever come up with. However, I do not think this is a healthy way to cope now that I have a child. I have decided I will use the extra time off of work to attend an extra therapy session every week for more intensive treatment and to help develop some better coping mechanisms that do not involve me working myself into an early grave. As for our son, we have decided that my parents will not be a part of his life for the foreseeable future. We are not sure what we will tell him, but as he grows up and we see more of his personality, we plan to speak with a counselor who has experience in child psychology to find a way to approach the subject that will not be distressing or confusing for him. But you shouldn't be confused about listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I think you've done a great job building your life
agree.
for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
You've come so far as a, just individual, but also as a father. You clearly care so much about your son. And just, stopping that generational trauma in its tracks.
And as a partner, great partner, recognizing that the only thing that has kept you afloat has been your wife's support, and you want to pay her back for that. Great job.
Great job. 10 out of 10. But OP finishes, a lot of people mentioned the idea of me taking my wife's name. We floated that for a bit, but ultimately we have decided that we will be choosing a new family name entirely. It feels like more of a fresh start for a new legacy. We're not sure which name we will go with yet, but we hope to have that done by the end of the year. And honestly, that's pretty much it. There's not much else to report. I know the man that I have become. I know I am a capable father and a loving husband. I know I have a disease that puts me at a disadvantage when it comes to anyone's trust or respect because of my choices in the past. And I know that despite them, I will continue to be the best man I can be for my family.
You should take the last name Flumplebutt.
Yeah, take that last name.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
We've used that one around here a lot.
Oh, yeah. It's made rounds.
Senior Flumplebutt.
Mm-hmm.
Brother begged to not sing him happy birthday, but my family didn't listen.
Well, then no birthday for you.
My family is close with a couple from church who we referred to as our godparents growing up, starting from my preteen years. They are now in their late 60s, and over the years they have also counseled my parents on many things like finances, big purchases, and biblical guidance. By the way, this comes from user The Exciting One. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Savannah.
And we are here to give good advice goofily or whatever, but we don't know everything. We only know some things. So let us know what you would do in the comments, because you might know things we don't know. OP says they're church leaders as well, and they have celebrated almost all of our milestones with us to the point that they're basically family. However, they struggle with boundaries, and I have lost respect for my parents for continuing to give them a pass in this specific area related to my post. My brother is autistic and very shy, and he always asks us not to have waiters sing happy birthday when we go out to dinner. Our godparents have a prank they like to pull to embarrass people, which involves having the waiters sing happy birthday even when it's not someone's birthday, just to get free cake.
I've done that.
Aren't you supposed to be biblical leaders?
Free cake.
Before I continue, I want to point out that both my parents and godparents are church leaders, and church leaders in our church usually go out to a restaurant after Sunday service to mingle further. My godparents pull this prank on a random leader each Sunday to the point that it became an inside joke in the group, like guessing who it was going to be that day. But when they did it to my brother years ago on the Sunday of his birthday week, he literally cried from the attention of the nearby tables while they sang to him. My dad asks them not to do it to him anymore after that, and they listened for a few years until this weekend. My dad reminded them not to do it this year when we went out to eat with other leaders during the week of my brother's birthday, and they agreed beforehand, but later they changed their mind and did it anyway. When my brother retreated to the bathroom afterward for some time, they said he was overreacting. Oh no, the autistic child is overreacting. Are you an idiot?
What?
Are y'all the dumbest people on earth?
It's the fact that, like, can't you just respect what he says? Like, it's not funny to do it to, like, someone who literally has, like, you know, these issues that, like, could be triggered at any moment. And they're telling you specifically directions that they want you to follow. And it's like, meh, it's fun for us. Like, okay, but it's not about you. What?
I told my dad that we shouldn't go out with them anymore, but he disagreed because he considers them family, even though this is the second time it has happened and we rarely celebrate anything without them. I don't know what to say at this point, especially since they won't let my brother stay home after he asked on Saturday about future restaurant trips with them. What should we do? And there's an update. I guess just, like, I don't know. I don't know if the solution is just, like, never go out to eat with them again. But I think it's like, yeah, your dad should be having a serious conversation with him and be like, why did you do that?
Yeah, I just, like,
And it's like, yeah, he's overreacting, but like that's from your perspective because he's autistic. So to him, he's not overreacting at all. That is how he would react to the situation.
exactly. And, like, also, this has happened before in the past, and you know what happened last time. So, like, why would you be like, oh, well,
And
it's
you
been
know,
a few
to
years.
give him credit, it was years ago. So maybe in their uninformed, clearly uneducated heads, they're like, oh, well, maybe he's gotten more mature. It's like, no, I mean, he could, but guess what? He's still got autism, and he still doesn't want all the eyes on him. He doesn't want people singing him happy birthday at a crowded public place. It's just not what he wants.
It's like just such an easy request, just to be like, yeah, no, let's not do that. I know that you guys think it's funny and stuff, but, like, you know, I don't want to upset him on his birthday, and he's asked us not to, so let's just not do it, you know?
And it's for you guys, it's like, oh, haha, I'm embarrassed, and they're saying it's my birthday, okay, and then it's the moment passes and it's done. But for him, it's probably going to affect him for a long time.
Yeah, he just doesn't like it, and that's not, like, it's not like it's unreasonable. He just doesn't like it. Who cares? Just don't do it, and it's his day. Like, people are stupid.
Update. It's been some time since my first post, and I have since reflected on something that caused many misunderstandings in our family for years. This came from a therapist at my college, with the restaurant incident being the latest in a long string of misunderstandings. I didn't go to the therapist for myself, but rather because of my brother and a condition that we could never fully name. My parents knew he had some form of autism growing up, but they weren't sure what this other issue was. I will describe it as I did to my therapist, who was able to provide a lot of clarity. This condition also played a role in why my brother did not like being sung happy birthday at restaurants, along with many similar instances in the past. My therapist believes my brother has a condition called sound sensitivity autism, also known as hyperacusis. It makes everyday sounds feel uncomfortably loud and sometimes painful. It can cause anxiety from anticipating unpredictable loud sounds and sometimes depression or social isolation. My therapist came to this conclusion after hearing many things I told her about my brother, some dating back many years. We once went to a football game and he hid in the concession area with his headphones blasting because the inside seating was too loud. He has also hidden in the bathroom at church when certain services became too loud or raucous. He does not like concerts and visibly shakes whenever a crowd gets loud. At home, my brother often wears headphones because the TV, especially live audience events, can trigger sensory overload. There are many more examples. My parents have trouble understanding him and have blamed him for not wanting to do family activities when he actually does want to participate, just not in ways that trigger him. Our family loves sports, and he does too. He watches games with headphones playing music, but he does not watch with friends because he's afraid of being perceived as weird. Some of the worst times were when he was forced to do activities he didn't want to do. He once had anxiety before a piano recital, not because he was nervous about playing, but because of the applause that would happen throughout the event. He enjoys playing piano, but not performing. He explained it as constantly living on edge because you never know when a loud sound will suddenly happen. There was something my therapist told me during a later visit that gave me hope. She shared an article from last year about an NBA player named Joe Ingles. His son had a similar condition, but he was younger, like 8 years old, unlike my brother, who is now 11. Like my brother, he avoided loud environments and did not attend his father's games. Last year, though, his son had a breakthrough thanks to medical professionals. His mother made plans for him to attend his father's game for the first time. Joe Ingles was no longer a starter at that point in his career, but the Timberwolves coach told the team he would start Joe in the lineup for the game his son attended. The story was widely covered by the media. I brought this story along with the Cleveland Clinic page to my parents to try to explain my brother's condition that we never fully understood. While they were receptive, they did not believe it was necessary to take him to a doctor or therapist. What is wrong with your parents?
It could also be maybe a religious thing, like they don't believe in that or something, which, whatever.
It's like, dude, your kid's got like specialized needs. Like, take him to people who can help him.
Yeah, make him feel comfortable. Why do you want to just let him suffer? Like, obviously there's an issue here. And he has found out that, that these noises or whatever will trigger something in him and he has to run away. Like, why, if there's something that could help him, why would you not be open to that?
My parents believe they can do exposure tests on their own that will lead to a similar breakthrough. I strongly disagree. Joe's son made progress with professional guidance, not through parents trying to handle it alone. But no matter how hard I pushed, they refused to take him to a professional and instead chose to reach out for support and prayer from church. There it is. That's what's doing it. We can pray the problems away.
Yay.
Yes. I cannot express how upsetting that was to me. I also can't take him myself because I'm not his parent. I hate how they believe they can replicate the breakthrough that Joe's son had without medical or therapeutic help. My therapist agreed that it was unfortunate because addressing it early is usually better. Regarding the restaurant incident, my brother had a sensory overload when the waiters sang and other tables stared at us. This was the second time our godparents have done this to him. He was 8 the first time and he cried when they sang. We did not know what hyperacusis was at the time, but my parents told our godparents not to do it again in later years around his birthday. They listened until he turned 11 this year. My parents reminded them again this year, and they agreed before breaking their promise. But I would never break our promise of giving you full episodes with stories just like this to listen to on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime and you can listen as long as you want. As long as you want.
Yeah, buddy.
And there's a little bit more story here. I tried explaining the unofficial diagnosis from my therapist to my godparents to help them understand. And they reacted even worse than my parents and said, he needs to stop acting like a girl. Nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Regarding their fake birthday prank that leaders expect every Sunday after church, I told my parents it was wrong because it's essentially stealing by taking advantage of free cake when it's not someone's birthday. My dad said it was justified because the total bill is often over $100 and the cake probably costs around $3. I pointed out that the Bible says all sin is equal regardless of size, and he did not like that. As for my brother, they are still not budging on seeking professional help. I hate how religion and arrogance are being used to place themselves above doctors and medical professionals. And there's some comments here. Comment 1, OP should remind her dad that there's no such thing as a white lie, because I'm certain that has been taught at her church. Poor kids. Another reply. So, yeah, there's actually a researched thing where when people think they've done something good, they use that to justify being, well, a-holes. I went to church is often one of the things that lets people justify being bad. It's a big part of why they're notoriously bad tippers, for example. Comment 2 says, color me surprised. The dad didn't like being called out at him also sinning, and that all sin is equal. Nothing a performative Christian hates more than being called out with the truth of the Bible they're not reading. Someone else replies, probably feels emboldened to go along with it in the group of church leaders who seemingly expect the prank on tradition. Every Sunday, they go out to eat following service. Comment 3, perhaps it's time to stand up and loudly announce, it's not their birthday. This is a tradition that the church leaders have in order to steal free cake from restaurants. I have pointed out to them that this is not Christian behavior and that one of the 10 Commandments says, thou shalt not steal. But they've told me that they couldn't give a crap about Jesus and they're just in it for the social clout and free food. And that's the end of that story. And I don't think you should do that.
Yeah, I don't think that that's like, and also I feel like the restaurant probably knows if they've been going there for years doing this.
Yeah, I think that they
Every
would rather
Sunday.
have the bill every Sunday for all of them or whatever. But hey,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. My ex-husband got a girlfriend and might inherit everything meant for my son.
I'm not letting that happen.
That's right. She's on the case. Ex, 63 male, and I, 62 female, married late at 30 and 31, respectively.
That's not late. That's like not late at all.
Right? Maybe back in the day.
Yeah.
After dating and being engaged for over 5 years.
It's like such a normal timeline.
He cheated on me for months with a spicy dancer from Las Vegas while I was pregnant. Unfortunately, another normal timeline.
Yikes.
Ex had wanted me to quit my job and stay home with our son, 30 male, which I did. By the way, this comes from user Fabulous Kittens, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
And we are here to help give good advice goofily to all of the folks out there who listen to us, but just know you're listening to some goofballs who don't know everything. We just know what we do. So if you would do something else, just let us know in the comments.
Let us know, please.
We'd like to read about it. And OP says, X continued to see this woman. I knew what was going on, but didn't say anything. X thought he was being super sneaky. I remember feeling scared, humiliated, and immobilized as my marriage was crumbling. I had to quit my job, had no income, and was taking care of a 1-year-old. As time went on, my then husband became even more hateful, mean, and nasty. He wouldn't go to counseling after a few sessions because the therapist sided with me, in his words. My parents told me years later that every time they visited our house, they always heard my then husband yelling at me, a door slam, and then when I came out, they saw I had been crying. They felt it wasn't their place to say anything, so they never did.
I hate
Family?
that. Your
It-
family?
It is exactly your place to say something.
That's honestly like, wow. I would see my family differently if I knew that they knew I was, in an unhealthy relationship and they never did anything.
You just gotta at least say something. Maybe
Yeah.
you can't do something, but you can say something. That's what you can do. You can go, hey, are you
Are
okay?
you okay?
Is this
Do you
okay?
need help?
It doesn't seem like this is going very well. The next act is when our son was about 2, my then husband walked out one night and said he was not coming back. He told me he was in love with the spicy dancer and was leaving to go be with someone that loved him and that he could have a life with.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a secret. She's not in love with you.
It was both terrifying and a relief at the same time, as I was constantly walking on eggshells just waiting for the next explosion. The mortgage payments on the house were paid by my ex, each until I was able to find a job. Then I had to pay half. I got a new job, went to therapy for 2 years, and made every attempt possible at creating a new normal life for myself and our son. I had full custody of our son, and my ex saw him some weekends and took him on some trips when he seemed to have time, while he continued to build a successful career for himself and took care of his girlfriend's children. They split after 6 years together. He has had various other short relationships since then. Over the years, I poured myself into being the best mom I could. I realized I would never have peace in my heart unless I forgave my ex. I literally stopped caring. My parents loaned me money to hire a divorce attorney. My then husband threatened to take our son away from me if I went through with it and said he would tell everyone I was crazy and not fit to be a mother. Wow, what a nightmare scenario.
Yeah, really just keeps getting worse.
Rationally, I knew that this was not really possible. But my then husband had become fairly wealthy by that time and had many professional connections, so a part of me decided to stay quiet, continue to raise our son as best I could, and shut out the drama. When we signed the divorce papers, I got nothing more than my share of our house, which was about $100,000 at the time.
Did you sign a prenup? How did that happen?
Yeah, I don't
Or
know.
did he just have a really good lawyer?
He probably did if he had the money. Everything else was his, and I should not dare to try to take anything from him. He said that since he had moved out, I was only entitled to share in assets we had accumulated up until that point, even though we stayed married on paper for a few years after he left. Did you not have your own lawyer?
I don't
Did
think
you
so.
not lawyer up? You should have 1,000% lawyered
Yeah,
up
it
against
sounds
him.
like OP did not lawyer up.
I knew this was not true. There was no prenup. I am not complaining, just stating a fact. Another fact is years later, the ex put a personalized license plate on his Ferrari. The man has a Ferrari that read GRT prenup. I guess he thought that was pretty funny. Fast forward, I never dated or remarried. Our son turned into an incredible, smart, kind, and accomplished young man. He started and runs his own business. I am happy, have wonderful friends, am at peace, and have managed to do well enough by myself. I am far from wealthy, but I'm okay. I am blessed that my parents instilled in me many important life skills, and that God has kept me on the right path. My ex has told me repeatedly what a great mom I was, which is weird, but I appreciate it.
It's like, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's kind of wild. I don't really care what you have. Your
Yeah.
opinion on my being a mother means nothing. You abandoned us
Yeah.
when he was 2.
Like, shut up.
I have tried to model what being a good person is to my son. My son and I remain close, talk to one another all the time, and I work part-time for his business. I wouldn't say my ex and I are friends, but I figured long ago if there was any chance to give our son the most normal life, it reasonably needed to include his father. So we're amicable as much as possible. I live in the same city as my ex, and we see each other at social engagements. My ex's current girlfriend, 41 female, has a decent amount of money from her 2 divorces. That's crazy.
Ooh.
My full-time job is getting divorced from
Yeah.
wealthy people.
I just divorce a lot. The benefits are great.
She kind of keeps him at arm's length, but gladly accepts the gifts and money being lavished on her and her 2 teenage daughters. From just seeing her new jewelry, car, and handbags, I estimate he is in for about $400,000 so far after about 1 year together. I don't falter, but I think he is crazy. But whatever. Here is where the disconnect and pain is for my son. His dad has done a complete life makeover. New veneers, new hair, facial surgery, dresses to the nines, works out, and acts like a totally different person when he's with his girlfriend and new circle of friends. He travels the world, buys expensive cars, goes out to fancy dinners and clubs, and seems happier than a pig in mud. I know this because he tells me. I just laugh to myself because I don't care. My son's dad has always, for years, told our son that he would inherit everything and that any money he'd amassed was family money and that it would stay within the family. He expected our son to be true to this, as did our son. Our son found out last week that he was being replaced as executor of his dad's estate, and the new girlfriend is now the executor. This has not sat well with our son. He feels emotionally defeated right now and questions what he thought was loyalty and family bonds. He knows and acknowledges that his dad's money is his dad's money, and he could literally set it on fire and no one should care. Our son feels emotionally betrayed and, in his words, jealous that his dad is living the life he never did with us and has thrown him to the curb in favor of Family 2.0. All very fair.
Yeah.
By the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories like this. All you need to do is go to your favorite podcast platform like iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts and search OK Storytime and get access to all of the full episodes we have just waiting there for you to listen to. There's a little bit more story left. Have we confronted father about his decision?
Okay, so he's not a minor anymore, so it's not about child support. I'm wondering, has he gone to college? Did he have like a college fund? What are things that you can reasonably ask the dad to be like, hey, you need to pitch in for this?
I would just be so annoyed because it's like, so you abandon us emotionally and financially, then you find, multiple new wives and partners, and then now you have this girlfriend that you've made in charge of your estate, essentially, and now you're living it up, and I'm just on the outside, and now not like what is wrong with you? His dad refers to his new family and how awesome they are all the time. He says the girlfriend's daughters are the daughters I never had, and I love them like my own. Our son is struggling with this shift in family dynamics. He feels replaced and hurt. My role is to support him and help him process these feelings and reinforce that the love and care he received growing up are invaluable. We talk about setting boundaries, acknowledging reality without resentment, and focusing on what he can control, including his own life, business, and relationships. I encourage him to separate his dad's choices from his own self-worth. Therapy or mentoring could also help him navigate these emotions and maintain perspective on family and loyalty. How can I help support and guide my son through this? Well, it sounds like you got a great idea so far.
Sounds like you're doing a great start.
Yeah.
Off to a great start.
And that is the end of that story. I think, a therapist is probably in order there.
Yeah, because you can't control, as you said, you can't control your ex. All you can do is kind of realize who this guy is and not really depend on him going forward.
Yeah, I'd have him write a letter to his dad and be like, you know what? You can write a letter with the expectation that this is the last, serious conversation you'll ever have with him, because you can't take him seriously.
Mhm.
He's a...
Let him know that, if you want to cut me out of the family or not acknowledge me as your son, then I'm not going to acknowledge you as my dad, and we're not going to have any relationship going forward.
Yeah, we can just I'll do exactly what you did when I was 2, and I will just, abandon you.